Safeco Field, a few clouds this afternoon. What a roof. Look at that. Right looking down on the ball field from the roof here at Safeco, which last night they put on the first time in a long time during the game. But the roof is retracted this afternoon, and we are just about ready to play baseball. The Mariners and the A's wrapping up this 3-game series. Ken Wilson, along with Mike Blowers, we're ready to go.
For the Athletics, 10th in runs scored, but 7th in home runs. And you take a look at a lot of pop at the top of the lineup. Coco Crisp with 10, Gomes, he has 15, and then Josh Reddick leading the way with 28 home runs. Cespedes, Chris Carter, see what he's done since the All-Star break. 259 average, but 11 home runs for him. Donaldson, Norris, Drew, and Rosales getting his first start of the series. He will hit 9th. Numbers for Jason Vargas this year, looking for his 15th win. On his way to going over 200 innings pitched again. That's a nice number for Jason. 121 strikeouts to 47 walks. And for Vargas, he has pitched well against the A's this year. His changeup has been a big pitch to them. I think he'll use his cutter quite a bit, try to get in on the hands of the right-handed hitters.
So Jason is ready to go. So are the Athletics. They've got the broom in hand. They are trying for the sweep here this afternoon, and we're underway as Vargas delivers to Coco Crisp, and that's strike one. The A's winning Friday night 6-1 with a big George Coteras homer in the fourth, and then winning 6-1 last night with a big George Coteras home run in the fourth. Say it isn't so.
Well, the good news is George Coteras is not in the lineup today.
It cannot happen 3 games in a row. The outfield is spread. Crisp with good speed pops it into the crowd off first base. Mike Karp giving it a look, and the count is 1-2. So Vargas has had an absolutely outstanding season, and he's up among the league leaders in a number of departments, and most importantly with those 14 victories. And there you see his 4 starts. He's been a dandy this season against the Athletics. This one popped up back of the plate, and it'll go out of play. What's incredible, Mike Blowers, about Vargas's work against the Athletics, 2-0 is one thing, an ERA under 2, but 27 1/3 innings, only 17 hits. I mean, if you're at a hit an inning, you're in pretty good shape, but wow.
And especially for Vargas, because typically they will put the ball in play, and he wants them to, and he wants them to do it early in counts. So that's a big number for him. And again, he has pitched well, and it's, for whatever reason, sometimes you get comfortable against the team, and he has been that way against the A's. Already working his cutter in on Coco Crisp, going back with the changeup.
The 2-2 hit in the air down the line in left. Saunders out there into the foul ground area, and oh baby, what a catch! He pulls a Trayvon Robinson. What a play by Michael Saunders, who spent the season in center, played right last night, and oh, what a play there to start the game in left field.
A lot of people think Michael Saunders can be the best defensive left fielder in the game as you see him going over the stands. Michael dealing with a bit of a groin issue, but it looks like he's in good shape there. But you can see the concentration with his height, able to reach over a few of the fans. But a fine catch for Saunders to start the game.
What a way to start it. There's Trayvon. He made another nice catch in that corner last night, and he's made 2 or 3 like that here this season. Now the batter is Johnny Gomes, hitting .257, and he doesn't get the fastball. That's a great play by Saunders.
Certainly helping out your pitcher as he goes into the stands. We actually saw Trayvon end up in the seats earlier in the home stand. Trayvon slammed into that wall last night, but a good catch by Saunders.
1-1 now on Johnny Gomes, who's the DH today. Gomes has not hit much against the Mariners this season. You see it 2 for 14. And lifetime only 171 against the M's. He gets hit here, doesn't even budge, and he'll go to first, hit by a pitch.
Take a look at the defense. The rest of the defense for the Mariners. A fine catch by Saunders. But in center field, Franklin Gutierrez out in center. Casper Wells getting a start in right field today with the left-hander on the mound for the A's. Then you have Alex Liddy at third. Brendan Ryan is at shortstop. Kyle Seager will move over and play second. Ackley getting the day off. Mike Karp, your first baseman, and Miguel Olivo will do the catching. So a few changes defensively for Eric Wedge and the Mariners this afternoon.
Now the batter is Josh Reddick, who's in a prolonged slump, and he takes a strike. Josh, in the 9th inning last night, when the A's added an insurance run, had a single. That ended an 0 for 19 streak that has seen his average dip to 253. Former Boston Red Sox outfielder, and he chops one. Tough play, Seager. He's got to wait for the runner and throws in time to retire Reddick, but you can only get the one out as Gomes advances to second base, 2 away. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, the rookie, Yoenis Cespedes, who's been a big home run guy for the A's against the Mariners this season. And he has 16 home runs, 66 RBIs, and a pretty impressive .291 batting average.
And he's hit 2 of those home runs off of Jason Vargas. So it'll be interesting with first base open to see what Jason decides to do with Cespedes. You have Chris Carter, although he has 14 home runs on the year, a younger hitter. See if Jason wants to mess around with him and maybe move on to the next hitter, Chris Carter, who's waiting on deck.
Cespedes strong, to say the least. He's not very tall. There's Carter. Yoenis is only about 5'10", and for this era, that's a pretty small player in terms of height. And that's a ball, but he packs 210 pounds, and I mean, he's got some strength. His career numbers against Vargas. Cespedes out of Cuba, a 26-year-old rookie. And it's 2-0. We talk about Vargas up among the league leaders. There aren't that many pitchers who have more victories this season in the American League than Jason. In fact, there are only 5.
He's really had a really good year, and he's pitched well here in this ballpark. He's 5-3, but his ERA to 2.52 here at Safeco Field in 12 starts.
Here's one popped up, back of first. Carp in foul ground, and he makes the catch just in foul ground to retire the side. No score after half an inning. First, Franklin Gutierrez, the leadoff hitter in this contest.
Today's starting lineup is brought to you by Chevron. Following Gutierrez, a different look to the lineup today. It'll be Michael Saunders, then it's Montero. Montero 6 for 4 off of Malone with the home run. He's the DH hitting third. Seager, the cleanup hitter. Then it's Olivo, Wells, Carp, Liddy, and Ryan to round out the 9 for the Mariners. Numbers for Tommy Malone. He's had a good year. 11 wins, 3.94 ERA for him. 118 strikeouts to just 31 walks. He is a strike thrower, not overpowering at all. His fastball will be about 88 miles an hour. Will use his changeup. He will double up and triple up on his changeup, so the Mariners certainly aware of that.
So Malone ready to go, and he dishes up a strike to Gutierrez, who of course hasn't played a lot of games in the big leagues this season, but it's the first opportunity for the veteran to hit in the leadoff spot. Hitting .275. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. If you were with us last night, we were talking about how Gutierrez has hit so well against left-handers. Facing Brett Anderson last night, and he had 2 hits. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I think it's a good move, put him in the leadoff spot. The other thing that he will do is he will run. He has shown that once he's been able to get on base. And Malone, an average move for a left-hander to first, so I suspect the Mariners will try to put the game in motion, try to get some sort of offense going. They've struggled scoring just 1 run in each of the first 2 games of this series.
This ball is just foul. That's a tough call for the third base umpire, Lance Barrett, because it's coming right at him. So he has to be concerned, 1, about not getting hit, and 2, being able to turn and make sure he has a good, solid view of exactly where that ball hits. And he did a good job. So it's 1 and 2. They wanted the fastball up there on Gutierrez, and they got it up. And they're upstairs again, 2 and 2.
Talking to a number of the people from the A's about Malone, and they said that he needs to learn to pitch inside a little bit more. He has a cutter, but he doesn't use it a lot. And typically, if he gets hurt, it's because they want a fastball in and he'll leave it in the middle of the plate.
Here's a looper to right, coming on, diving Reddick to make an outstanding catch. So the right fielder, Josh Reddick, takes a hit away from Gutierrez.
Thought maybe this one was going to die and be a base hit for Franklin Gutierrez, but Reddick can cover a lot of ground for a right fielder. We've seen him make a number of plays. Just take a look at our McDonald's Supermo. Rest of the defense for the Athletics this afternoon. In left field, Cespedes, and then in center field, it'll be Coco Crisp. An improved infield. You have Donaldson at third, Stephen Drew coming over from the Diamondbacks. He will be the shortstop. Rosales and Carter on the right side of the infield, and Derek Norris getting his first start of the series behind the plate.
And the first pitch is a ball to Michael Saunders, who has 3 hits and 8 tries in the series. Last night hit down in the order, number 6, hitting .248 on the year. And he takes it tight, 2-0, so he's got a good hitter's pitch here against Malone, who in his last start against the Angels got rocked, 3 innings, 5 runs, 10 hits. That's a strike, 2-1. One of the notes on Saunders is that he hits left-handers well. We mentioned .248 on the year, but against the southpaws, .276. And the breaking ball gets him. So all of a sudden it goes from 2-0 to 2-2 just like that.
Well, and for Michael, talking about him hitting lefties, that's another one of the areas that he's improved on. I think the big thing for him is just to stay healthy and continue to swing the bat well. He's already have his season high 14 home runs on the year as he strikes out on a couple of breaking balls from Malone. First 2 breaking balls we've seen from him.
And the second one was a little slower than the first one. So Malone records his first strikeout, and he'll face Jesus Montero, hitting 3rd in the order. Of course, that's where we typically see Kyle Seager recently. Montero in last night's game hit cleanup, and he's at .266 with the 15 homers, the 54 RBIs. He's the DH in this game. And it's 1 strike on Montero, who, if you've been with us all season, you know that he'll hit the ball a lot to right field, a lot to right center, but then he can pull the ball, so you've got to defense him as if he'll hit it anywhere, and that's exactly what the Athletics are doing here in the first inning. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike on the former Yankee. Malone has had a tough time lately. We mentioned his last outing, his last 7 starts, 2 and 4, and his earned run average almost 6 over the last 7 starts. In the dirt, and it's 2-1. Montero's big league experience before this season was last September. He was up with the Yankees, and then came over, of course, during the offseason, that big Mariners-Yankees deal. And this will go foul, and it's 2-2.
And you can see Malone here in the first inning mixing it up, starting Montero off with a changeup that he was out in front of, and a little bit late on that fastball, even though it's just 88 miles an hour. As a hitter, you keep that changeup in the back of your mind. You'll have to hit his fastball probably to right field if you're going to have some success against him.
Montero goes down swinging. 2 strikeouts for Malone in a 1-2-3 Mariners first inning. Very pleasant afternoon here at Safeco. Look at the Mariners calendar, brought to you by Sleep Country USA. On the road, traveling to Toronto tomorrow for 3, then to Texas next weekend, and then home Monday the 17th. Baltimore in the pennant race for 3, then Texas on the weekend for 3. A lot of great baseball still coming up here at Safeco before the conclusion of this 2012 season. Our Mariners calendar brought to you by Sleep Country USA. There you go. That's a look. The first pitch of the second inning is outside from Jason Vargas to Chris Carter. Carter hitting .269, 14 homers, 33 RBIs, and he's in a favorable spot, 2-0. His 0 for 5 in the series is last night, and he struck out 4 times. He'll strike out a lot. And he takes one that's almost a strike, and it's 3-0. In fact, Chris Carter, in his last 4 games, struggling as you see Donaldson on deck. Carter is 3 for his last 15, which is no big deal, but he struck out 10 times in his last 15 at-bats. Here he draws a walk and thanks everybody for that walk, so that's a good start for him today. And he's at first with nobody out in the second inning.
I'll bring up Josh Donaldson. Donaldson hitting .230 on the season, 6 home runs and 23 RBIs.
Third base, kind of a revolving door for the A's. They weren't sure when the season started because Scott Sizemore, who figured to be the regular third baseman, tore a ligament in his left knee during spring training, out for the season. There's a strike on Donaldson, who's been up and down between the American League and the Pacific Coast League, playing at Sacramento this season. He hit a very healthy .335 during his time at Sacramento. So 105 points better than he's performed in the big leagues. A foul ball, and it's 0-2.
You talk about Sizemore and his injury. The A's were able to pick up Brandon Inge. Tigers let him go, picked him up, and he ended up getting hurt. And now here you have Donaldson. So
Eric Sogard, who's been on the DL for a while with a bad back, started the season at third base for the Athletics. Outside 1 and 2, Adam Rosales, who's playing second base today, kind of in the third base mix. So they've really had that revolving door. Donaldson has not played a lot of third base. In fact, they were kind of wondering. But he said, you know, remember when I was at Auburn, I didn't play third till my junior year, but I did play a full season in college at third. High pop-up, Carp waiting, and he drifts to his right to make the catch as Carter holds at first base. So 1 out for the A's here in the second inning in this scoreless game. And that'll bring up Derek Norris against Jason Vargas. Norris called up from Sacramento August the 3rd. I guess you could talk about a revolving door for this team in general. Boy, they've been through some players this season.
Well, they like Norris behind the plate. But as you can see by his numbers, he has struggled a little bit. 201, 5 home runs, 25 RBIs. He only has 159 at-bats on the year.
He's from Goddard, Kansas. Takes a strike, a fastball. Born there, raised there, makes his home in Goddard. I've got to tell you, I've been there. Went through there on the train, Mike, when I was a kid. And I'd never been west of anywhere. I took a train ride from Detroit to Denver. Stopped in Goddard to get ice. Here's a fastball high. In those days, they didn't have air conditioning on the trains. The good news is it wasn't a covered wagon. But they had
that long ago.
they had to put ice underneath the train passenger car, and that was how they, with a fan, that's how they cooled the car. And I remember we stopped in Goddard. I looked out the window. Of course, it was not much, flat and dust. And that's where this kid, Derek Norris, is from. Goddard, Kansas. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, I guess I would ask you what was taking you to Denver where you'd have to ride a train.
I was a pretty little kid. And I was a Boy Scout, which was a short-lived career. And I went to the big worldwide jamboree, which was in Colorado Springs. It was a while ago now. I'm not even going to tell you the President of the United States appeared at that Boy Scout jamboree.
Now, did you make that trip on your own?
No, I went with a troop.
Oh, the troop.
The troop
okay.
of, so how old would I have been? 11, 12?
Probably
maybe?
12 years old.
Yeah. I was not. Don't get the idea that I was a great Boy Scout. I was. I passed through, as they say.
Well, you started off by mentioning that it was a short-lived career.
Yeah, I tried. I gave it an effort. I attended. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Derek Norris, who's only 23 years of age. And as Mike says, they figure that, he's their catcher of the future. Came over last December in what's best known as the Gio Gonzalez trade. A trade not unlike many made by Billy Beane.
Right. And that's worked out well for Washington. Gonzalez really having a great year for the Nationals.
After a great year last season with the A's, I remember seeing him pitch against the Mariners last season. He had you twisted and turned, and that breaking pitch of his.
And a good fastball at 95 miles an hour.
Yeah. But a trade that works out for both teams is a good trade. That's how the trade should be. Swing and a miss. That changeup. Talk about being out in front. Norris strikes out. The first strikeout for Vargas. The second out here in the A's second inning.
Good pitch, 3-2 count. As you take a look at this, assuming he's going to get a fastball, our McDonald's Supermo, it is the changeup at 81 miles an hour. And you can see how far out in front Norris is of the changeup, expecting the fastball. Vargas with a lot of confidence in that pitch. That's his go-to pitch for him. And we'll see it a lot. He will throw it 2-3 times in a row.
Here is Stephen Drew, the athletic shortstop, high with a fastball, ball 1. Mike mentioned Stephen over from the Diamondbacks. Broke an ankle last year, so he's had a rugged time the last couple of seasons. Looking for a new life, if you will, here in the American League. And he's 3 for 7 with a couple of RBIs in this weekend series. 2-0. Stephen is from Georgia. He was a first-round pick in 2006 in the Major League Baseball amateur draft by the Diamondbacks. So this is all new for him here with a different organization and a different league, and he has a 3-0 count. And time is called. Olivo is going to go out and chat with Vargas.
My guess is that Miguel is picking something up in the mechanics of Jason. Jason's struggling here through the first 2 innings. If you look at 31 pitches, that's not bad, but only 14 strikes, 17 balls for him.
So Olivo back ready to send out the signs, and Drew back in. A .254 hitter. A home run, 6 RBIs since coming over to the American League, and he takes a strike. On deck is Adam Rosales, the 9th hitter and the second baseman today for the Athletics. A little sun breaking through, but actually more clouds than blue sky overhead. Here's a shot to right. Going to be played on a hop by Wells. Stopping at second is Carter. And there you have the first hit of the ball game. Drew a line single to right with 2 outs here in the second inning.
So the A's will have a runner in scoring position in both innings. You see this solid line drive on a 3-1 pitch. Jason's going to have to stay out of those counts if he wants to have success today. You see the eyes of Drew. Trying to keep his head still. Good swing.
So Adam Rosales steps in. Like a lot of the A's, he's been up and down between Oakland and Sacramento this season. Hit 280 at Sacramento. He's hit 219 with Oakland, and he looks at strike 1. So the A's with a chance here to put the first run of the game on the board.
You can see he's appeared in 31 games. Only 73 at bats on the season for him, though.
Rosales has not had a lot of time in the bigs, but he's hit 321 against the Mariners. So he's had some success against the M's as he's in a hole now, 0-2. Vargas trying to get out of a tight spot. 2 on, 2 outs, second inning, no score. Foul back, still 0-2.
Much better pitch from Jason. Used his cutter that time, 88 miles an hour, able to get it in on the hands. You can see 22 pitches in this inning so far. That's a big pitch for him. It really sets up his changeup, which is what he wants to use to get hitters out. But he has to show him the good fastball inside. Probably one of the areas he's improved the most on is getting it in there, not leaving it on the plate.
Nice block by Olivo, 1-2. We mentioned Vargas among the league leaders. David Price of Tampa Bay with 17 wins. That leads the league. Then Jared Weaver and Chris Sale at 16. Max Scherzer and Matt Harrison at 15. And then Vargas at 14. So he's right up there with the big guys. This ball stroked to center, not very deep. Gutierrez on the run, makes the catch, and that retires the side. 1 hit in the inning, a walk, 2 left, still no score.
Today's Tracer Technology is brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
The Mariners coming up here in the second inning with no score, looking to get on the board and try to salvage the final game of this 3-game series. Kyle Seager leads off, 1 strike. Seager, Olivo, and Wells here against Tommy Milone.
Kyle, 249 on the year, leading the club in home runs with 16 and RBIs with 78.
Kyle has a very high average at home. He's hitting 301 here. Of course, his 78 RBIs, I think a bit of a surprise. He's had actually a surprise season. I think played much better than anyone expected, and that's been one of the real pluses among quite a few pluses for the club this season.
I think he's one of the guys, when you talk about this club and trying to figure out what you had, that when they go to spring training next year, he's somebody that Eric Wedge is not going to have to worry about. It's been a really good year for Kyle. He's hit in the clutch all season long for the Mariners, driving in some difficult runs with 2 outs. So I think for Eric, he's one of the guys he's just going to pencil him in and not have to worry about him, which is a nice thing because he's had a lot to worry about with all these young players.
Good breaking pitch, and Seager strikes out. So after Gutierrez was robbed of a hit leading off the first by the right fielder Reddick, Milone has promptly struck out Saunders, Montero, and Seager.
That's another big breaking ball. That is going to be the pitch that Milone will use to the left-handers. He was able to strike Saunders out on a similar pitch, so the lefties will file that away. Try to get him on the plate with that pitch if they're going to swing at it.
That brings up Miguel Olivo, 0 for 4 in the series and 1 strike at this at bat. Miguel hitting .211. He's hit better lately. He had a tough start to the season with the bat. 9 homers, 24 RBIs. They play him to pull, and that pitch tight, 1-1. Milone, we mentioned, has had a tough time lately, and he has not been that good on the road. His road earned run average at 5.30. So he's 5 and 6 on the road, 1 under 500. Overall, 1 over 500. And it's 2 balls and a strike.
One thing that you can see in today's game with both left-handers going to throw a lot of change-ups in this one. And I think Vargas may be a little bit of an edge just because of the experience and his ability to pitch inside. You would think if Milone is going to stay away from the Mariner hitters, that'll be an adjustment that they will make quickly in this game.
2-2 on Olivo. So you've got 2 lefties that, you know, might fall in that category of crafty southpaws.
I think that's fair.
They're not, you know, they're not. We're not looking at Koufax out here or anything like that. We've got some fellas that can do it. Look at that pitch, 81 miles per hour. Wow. 4 strikeouts in a row for Tommy Milone. Coming up Sunday the 23rd, Kids Appreciation Day here at Safeco. I'll tell you, what a day it's going to be. Filled with prizes, surprises, mascots, and a whole lot more. Kids 14 and under score a Mariner Moose poster thanks to Kid Valley and Ibars. Plus, you youngsters have got a chance to win some great giveaways all game long, including a BMX bike, Mariner autographs, electric guitar, a Nintendo Wii, and a whole lot more. So join us for a pregame parade also on the field, kicking that all off at 11:30 on Sunday the 23rd. Get your tickets at mariners.com. It's going to be a fun day. Kids Appreciation Day. Wells hits the ball out of play, and it's 0-2. So that's just around the corner. 2 weeks from today. Not that many home games left. Looks like only 9. The 3 with Baltimore starting a week from tomorrow night. 2 weekends from now, Texas. And then the first 3 days of October, the Angels will be in. That's it for games here at Safeco.
Some tough games here at Safeco for the Mariners. All those clubs hoping to get into the postseason.
Very, very tough schedule the rest of the way for Eric Wedge's club, and he is just hoping his team performs well. 2-2. The clubs he's playing, well, they have a different outlook. They are hoping that they can play Seattle and pick up some key wins, because you look, you've got 4 left, including today with Oakland, 6 with LA, 6 with Texas. So that's 16 with the 3 teams in the West. Down goes Wells. Milone appears to be on his game. He strikes out the side in the second.
Angie Menting here at the Ford Sports Desk. Coming into today, the Angels were 2 games back of the second wild card spot in the American League, taking on the Tigers. And we're talking about how we've had back-to-back 6-1 games here. Yesterday, Mike Trout hits a home run in the first inning, and here he does it again. Angels go up 1-0, and right now that score is 3-1 in the top of the 5th. Guys?
Thank you very much, Angie. Mike Trout.
When's the last time you've seen anybody burst onto the scene like that young man has? The numbers that he's put up this year after missing the first month of the season because he was in AAA.
You're going back to some great players.
I think so, too.
I mean, you're talking about...
When they start comparing you to Mickey Mantle, that's pretty good.
That's what I was going to say. You know, you're looking at Mickey Mantle. Wow. This is Coco Crisp. Ground ball short. Oh, nice short hop. Backhanded Ryan the throw. And that's the way this kid.
Makes it look easy,
anymore.
right, Kev?
Oh,
Makes
man.
it look easy. It's really not that easy of a play when you think about Coco Crisp, who can really fly down the line. And this is to the backhanded side of Brendan Ryan. Backhand, get rid of it quickly with something on it. He has really helped out this pitching staff because of his ability to make all of these plays.
Not everybody, even at the big league level, can make that play.
Not with a speedy runner like Coco Crisp.
No.
It's one, you have to be able to get rid of it quickly, and the key is to put something on it. I think Brendan Ryan, he can throw from all different angles, is one of the best at it.
Here is Johnny Gomes, and he's in the hole, 1 strike. Gomes was hit by a pitch in the first. We're talking about Gold Gloves a little bit last night, and you know, it's a lot different when you see a player every day as opposed to seeing them 10 to 20 times in a season. But boy, Ryan is really something special. 2 strikes on Gomes. Can he win a Gold Glove? He should.
He should.
But winning it is another story.
Well, I think that's a great point that you make, Ken. When you get the opportunity to watch him play every day, it's not the spectacular play. Tied him up with a good fastball inside.
Wow. All you have to do is see that swing, and you know what a great pitch it was.
Good cutter in on his hands after a couple of pitches away, and you can see the swing by Gomes. That is an emergency hack, just trying to get a piece of it. But I think with Brendan, watching him every day, it's all the little things that he does. He moves the infielders around. I was talking to Robbie Thompson about him because Robbie is the one that positions the infielders, and he said that basically he leaves a lot of it up to Brendan Ryan on how the pitcher's going, where they want to pitch, and he will move the infielders around. So he's the one veteran presence that they have out there, and he's done an excellent job of that this year.
1 strike on Josh Reddick. Boy, Vargas has come out here in the 3rd and looks like he's just attacking.
Good shot of Robbie. Should be proud of these guys. And when I was talking to him about it, wasn't just Brendan Ryan. He was talking about all the infielders that they've had and leading the league in fielding percentage. But he said that the thing that he likes the most is that they make all the plays at the end of the game. And he thinks for a young group, that's a big hurdle to get over when the pressure's on. And these guys, especially because they play so many one-run games, at their ability to make the plays for their pitchers. He's really proud of that fact, and he should be. He's worked hard with them.
Yeah. Coaches just do so much work, hours and hours.
We see him out here at 2 o'clock doing the extra work that nobody else gets to see.
Yeah, swing and a miss on that change. Great inning there for Vargas. Doesn't even work up a sweat. 1, 2, 3. Down go the Athletics. No score in this one. Great pitching from Vargas and Malone in the early going. Time for our AT&T trivia question. What is the record for fewest base runners in a full major league game by both teams? Text A, B, C, or D to 733-733.
I am going to take myself out of this one today, Ken. So you're on your own.
You know this one?
I know this one. No, I was not in it. But our good friend Ron Fairley did play in it. And it's there's Ronnie. And I was actually talking to him about it, and it's a pretty interesting game. But I'll give you a hint.
Mike Carp, a base hit to right center.
I'll give you a hint. Sandy Koufax was involved in the game, and Ronnie was playing. I believe Ronnie played right field.
Was this the discussion at the lunch table?
That's right.
And I got the end of it, but I don't think I know the answer from it.
Well, then you can make a guess.
Yeah, there you go.
Mariners get their first hit. You take a look at Ron.
Over on radio.
I didn't realize, but he told me that Koufax had 4 no-hitters.
Yeah. And the perfect game in 65 against the Cubs.
That's right.
Now, there was a pitcher. Sandy Koufax. Here's Alex Liddy. Good to see Alex again. Playing third, hitting eighth. Of course, played a lot early in the season and then spent most of the campaign, or a good part of it, down in Tacoma.
Sandy was a little different than the 2 left-handers going today.
He's the opposite end. Koufax and Randy Johnson. That matchup would be the opposite of Jason Vargas and Tommy Malone.
2 power pitchers.
Yeah.
Sandy's fastball, I guess, was in the upper 90s. It was a great curveball.
A ball on Liddy, and it's 2-0.
See where the fans are going.
Well, I'm going to go, I would say 2. They're going with 2, huh? I would have gone with 3, only because I think statistically you would go 3 or 4 rather than 2 or 5, which is why you always say the World Series will be decided in 6 games if you're trying to be sensible. Liddy offers on a 2-0 pitch and hits the ball in the air to right. Reddick is there, and he makes the catch, and that is 1 out, and back to first goes Carp. Well, I think the answer is 2, but if I were sitting here and didn't know anything and I didn't see the fans' thoughts, I would have said 3. So I better go with 3.
Going with 3. Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's 2.
That's a good answer.
3 seems logical. 2 seems impossible. You're going to tell us the story in a while, so that'll be interesting.
It's good to have Ron back in town. I always enjoy talking to him.
Well, we've got a lot of stories when,
He played a long time.
Yeah, played a long time and played with some interesting teams, certainly. Here's Brendan Ryan coming in, batting 196. The third baseman, Donaldson, is tight, and there's a ball from Malone.
Ron Fairley played 21 years in the big leagues.
And really, I would think you could say the golden era in many ways. Played against, back in that, what I call the 50s, 60s golden era. He was in part of it.
I would agree.
1-1. And playing for the Dodgers is,
it was pretty good.
It's not like just playing for anybody. It's kind of special to be a Dodger. And then played, with
Toronto and Montreal.
And played with Toronto,
St.
kind of
Louis.
an expansion team. And, played in Canada. Playing with the Cardinals is, kind of a little special, too, in many ways. No score in this one. Ryan just able to get out of the way. He was hit by a pitch last night. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Well, we'll see if the fans are right on our AT&T trivia question this afternoon. The Mariners trying to get on the board here in the third. They've scored a lot of first inning runs this season, but they've scored more runs in the third inning than any other frame. The fewest runs have come in the 7th and 8th. Throw to first, and Carp is back. Tommy Malone kind of slowing it down now, having to work with his first base runner. Before Carp's leadoff single here in the third, Malone had retired 6 in a row, the last 5 via the strikeout. Now the Athletics looking for a double play ball here, and that's grounded foul, 2-2. Malone is a pitcher that just keeps changing speed, so tough. He's from USC, had kind of a so-so career with the Trojans. He's from the San Diego area. Not a big guy either. He's 6-footer. Goes 200 or so. 25 years of age. This is truly his rookie season, and what a plus he's been to come in as a rookie. And here he is making his 27th start, looking for his 12th win. Swing and a miss. So he gets strikeout number 6, and they're 2 away.
Well, anytime that you can get a starter, as you take a look at this great changeup, this is bread and butter, as it is for Vargas. For Brendan Ryan out in front of this, and our McDonald's Supermo. Swings through that changeup. Good location, too, down and away from the right-handed hitter. But if you get a 4th starter, but certainly a 5th starter that goes out and wins anywhere from 11 to 14 games for you, you found something.
Yeah.
And he's already had 11 wins this year for the Athletics.
First pitch is a strike to Gutierrez. Malone came up last season with the Washington Nationals, pitched in 5 games, and was 1-0. And you look at his minor league mark, he's had strong winning seasons all along the way in the minor leagues after the year he was drafted. He's been impressive, but certainly not overpowering. He was a 10th round draft pick. He's upstairs this time, 1-1.
I would say this, in the minor leagues, at the minor league level, if you have a good changeup and you can command it, throw enough strikes with your fastball, you're going to have success. The difference is at this level, and where he's been hurt at times, is you have to pitch in. And sometimes guys have a hard time believing they can pitch in with 87, 88 miles an hour. They don't want to mess around in there.
Yeah.
And they don't throw in there with conviction, something Carl Willis, the Mariners pitching coach, talks about a lot, and something that Jason Vargas does so well now. I can remember when Jamie Moyer was here, and I thought that was a big turn in his career, even though Jamie was probably throwing 85, 86. When he started to get in on the hands just a little bit, even if he threw it in there for a ball, really set up the great changeup and makes it even better.
Got to. You just have to go inside. Shortstop Drew really pulled in the hole, and that pitch misses, and the count on Gutierrez is 3-1.
And that's the pitch that Malone wanted. That pitch on the plate, probably at the bottom of the strike zone, maybe just below it, but Jim Reynolds, the home plate umpire, didn't give it to him, and that's another area you can see where the pitch is, the 4th pitch here in this at bat. That's an area where he wants to stay down in the zone.
There's no score. The Mariners have Carp at first with 2 outs here in the 3rd inning. Good pitch count here, 3-1 coming up to Gutierrez, who lined to right in the first. And he gets a pitch to handle and cracks it foul, so the count is full.
Good pitch to hit on a 3-1 count. You can take a chance. He gets a fastball up out over the plate. Now I guarantee you he's thinking, am I going to get that pitch again, or is he going to come back and throw the changeup, which isn't going to let you be quite as aggressive on the fastball if he throws it.
I think you think often, I see the fastball 3-1, I'm going to see a fastball 3-2, but with this kind of pitcher, you're right. You're not thinking I'm going to see a fastball.
Well, we've already seen Vargas get a strikeout on a 3-2 changeup.
Yeah.
And it was the changeup.
3-2. So now you do some more thinking.
This is when you really have to trust your hitting mechanics and the things that you work on. You can't try to do too much here. You have to try to stay back up the middle. That way, if he hangs the changeup, you can do some damage on it. But if he makes a decent pitch, hitting the ball the other way will keep you on the changeup long enough, and you can still get to his fastball if you trust your hands and stay with those mechanics, and that's the hard part.
You hope you don't get a fastball on the inside corner, but
tip your hat and walk back to the dugout.
Breaking pitch ripped up the middle around second goes Carp. Up with the ball is Crisp. He'll throw it into the middle of the infield at second base, and the Mariners have some business happening here in the 3rd inning. 2 on with 2 outs, and a good bit of hitting by Gutierrez.
Really good hitting. This is showing some discipline from one of the veteran hitters, one of the few veteran hitters that the Mariners have. It's an off-speed pitch. Doesn't try to do too much with it. Waits back. He actually gets jammed a little bit, but hits a line drive back up the middle to give himself a base hit and move Carp around to 3rd.
Well, now it'll be up to Michael Saunders if the Mariners can add to their successes scoring runs here in the 3rd inning.
And now you hope that Michael, with his at-bat, seeing the at-bat with Kyle Seager, he knows at some point in this at-bat he's going to get that breaking ball, and his job is to try to get it on the plate, because we've seen the left-handed hitter swing at some pitches off the plate away. So again, you get into that chess match with this style of pitcher. There it is, the breaking ball.
Right out of the gate. What are the chances of Michael Saunders even seeing a fastball in this at bat?
I think he might see it, but he will see it off the plate, probably in off the plate, just to show it to him, try to speed things up on him, and then go right back out away with the breaking ball.
Third baseman tight, Donaldson. Carter holds it first, and a fly ball right center field. Just simply hit too high, crisp to the edge of the track to make the catch. That'll do it. A couple of hits. M's failed to score. No score after 3.
To score. Andrew Mentink here at the Ford Sports Desk. Back east, the big battle between the Yankees and the Orioles has turned a little lopsided. Top of the 7th, it was 6-3 Yankees, but a pinch hitting Curtis Granderson sends one over the left field fence, making it 8-3. And then in the 8th, Derek Jeter up with one on, and he sends this pitch to right center. It's going to score Ichiro, and the Yankees have taken this game. It's a final 13-3. Guys?
All right, Angie. So the National or American League East, the Birds are a game back. The Rays, with a victory, remain 2 off the pace. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is a pennant race. That's a big timer right there.
I think that the extra wild card spot is going to be wildly successful this year.
Yeah. Cespedes leading off after fouling out to Carp in the first inning. How about them Yankees?
Wow.
Remember, they were 10 up in fairly late July. Gutierrez gliding in. Seager out. Seager makes the catch. And Yoenis Cespedes is the first out here in the 4th inning. Folks, the Mariners are recruiting future stars to join the U.S. Bank Mariners Kids Club with back-to-school membership special right now. Only $5, you receive a t-shirt, cap, members-only bag, and a whole lot more. Plus, you'll have the chance to win some great prizes like autographed baseballs, on-field experiences, and a Halloween party with the Mariner Moose. $5 Kids Club memberships can be purchased at mariners.com/Kids Club. Chris Carter walked in the 2nd, already in the hole, 1 strike. Boy, Vargas now so different, Mike, here in the 3rd and the 4th than he was in the 1st and 2nd innings.
Well, we saw after the 2nd inning he was at 31 pitches. He had 14 strikes, 17 balls, and now he's just flipped that around at 52 pitches, 32 strikes, and 20 balls. So he's starting to feel it, in a groove again. And if you look at his numbers and what he had done against the A's this year, he had a 1.98 ERA against the A's coming into this game for the 2012 season, and it looks like he's having a pretty good idea of what he wants to do. As you take a look at this last pitch, just a good fastball above the belt. It's such a good feel of throwing that fastball and when to use his changeup and watching the hitters. That's a big adjustment to make, and he's at that point in his career where he's done it.
Josh Donaldson Change low and away, ball one. So who wins the American League East? Only 2 games separating the Yankees, Orioles, and Rays. Here's a shot to third. Liddy makes the play, makes the throw, and boy, oh boy, what a quick 4th inning for the A's. Still, here at Safeco, no score. A pitcher's battle here early at Safeco this afternoon. Let's get back to our AT&T trivia question. There are the fans' results. The fans feel the fewest base runners in a full Major League Baseball game by both teams was 2. Mike Blowers took himself out because he knew the answer. I guessed 3. And the fans, you guys are smart. September 9th, 1965, the Koufax perfect game. Dodgers won 1-0. 2 base runners. Lou Johnson walked in the 5th. Singled in the 7th. The obvious next question is, okay, a walk and a single in 2 different innings doesn't give you a run. So how did they get the run? As Montero leads off in the 4th, you say it happened in the 5th. Lou Johnson, veteran outfielder, right-handed hitter, drew a walk, so he's at first base in the 5th inning of a scoreless game.
Seems simple enough.
Here's a bullet right up the middle. A base hit. Montero just kind of guides that one. The ball cracks off his bat. Drew playing more towards the hole, and Montero has a leadoff single here in the 4th inning.
It was one of the unique things that Ron Fairley was telling me about when we were talking about that game. And he said, Ronnie was telling me after the walk to Lou Johnson, Ron came up and bunted him to second base with Sandy Koufax on the mound. Just try to get a run. You have a chance to win. Bunted him over to second. Johnson went to steal third, and the catcher, and Ronnie told me his name, I can't remember who it was at the time, but Green threw the ball into left field, and Johnson scored without a base hit. And then he eventually had the 1 hit of the game because Sandy Koufax had thrown a perfect game. And Ron again had played in all 4 of Sandy's no-hitters. And that's how they scored that run, and that's why there were only 2 base runners.
Here's Kyle Seager, and he takes low and inside, ball 1. Who was the pitcher for the Cubs that day? Who obviously pitched fairly well.
I would say a 1-hitter and lost to Sandy.
Bob Headley.
Yes.
Right-hander. I remember that.
Yeah. Threw a 1-hitter and lost to Sandy Koufax.
Yeah. Those things happen. Slow curve, and it doesn't catch the strike zone. 2-0 on Seager. Good opportunity here. The Mariners failed in their opportunity. They had 2 on with 2 outs last inning. And Saunders got the fastball. Hit it deep to Crisp in right center. Now they've got the leadoff man aboard. The A's hoping that they can get a double play here. And the ball slugged in the air to left field. Cespedes comes in, makes the routine play. Back to first goes Jesus Montero, and there's 1 out.
That perfect game came on this date in 1965. Another interesting fact.
That's right, September 9th, 65.
If you go back and you look at that 65 series that the Dodgers won, Ron Fairley was the hitting star in that series for the Dodgers.
That series was against. Why do I say Minnesota?
It was against the Twins. Yeah,
Minnesota Twins. Yeah,
and he was giving Mudcat Grant a beating in that series. But at the end of the day, Sandy Koufax ended up getting the MVP.
And so it happened.
So it happened. So
October '65. There's a strike to Miguel Olivo, who struck out against Tommy Milone in the second
inning. And if you
inning.
talk to Ron about it, he won't argue the fact that Sandy deserved to get the MVP.
1965.
Yeah.
So Tony Oliva was playing. It was that group. Bob Allison, Armin Killebrew,
yeah,
all from Minnesota. They had nice clubs. Ground ball finds its way into center field, and Montero pulls up at second base. So again, as was the case last inning, 2 Mariners aboard.
Well, Olivo able to stay back just long enough on this off-speed pitch. Take a look at our McDonald's Supermo. That pitch is down. Miguel stays back just long enough. Only 83 miles an hour. Hits it off the end of the bat. But finds himself getting a base hit back up the middle. So the Mariners getting another opportunity, their second chance in as many innings to try to drive in a run. They had third situation with 2 outs when Michael Saunders ended up flying out to the warning track in center field. But Casper Wells will get an opportunity now. Casper, a strikeout victim his first time up.
Casper had some stretches this season where he hit very well. And then he kind of tailed off, ended down for a few days in Tacoma. Now he's back. He has hit Oakland exceptionally well. Big spot here, and he taps it foul, 1 strike. Give you an idea on Casper. He's had 50 at-bats in his career against Oakland and 16 hits.
That's a good average.
You do the math.
320.
Yeah, that's it. 2 times 50, 2 times 16. That's how I do it. You know, I don't even use a calculator because I'm just barely able to make that in my mind.
It works.
And in this season, he's 6 for 19 against the A's. So this is the club he hits, and maybe he can get that hit here to break the scoreless tie here in the 4th inning.
Not many opportunities for either club. The Mariners 0 for 1 with runners in scoring position. The A's are 0 for 2.
This ball will go foul, and it's 2 strikes on Casper. We were talking earlier about the fact that the Yanks got the win over Baltimore today. They lead the East by a game over the Baltimore Orioles, 2 games over the Tampa Bay Rays. And I had asked you which team you thought would win this.
I think I would go with the Rays.
Yeah, that surprises me.
Upton with 3 home runs today.
That's impressive.
Yeah. The Rays, I like their pitching. I think their pitching is great. We'll see what happens with Price. He wasn't able to make his start yesterday, so that has to be concerning. But I like the Rays. I think a lot of Joe Madden. I think he's one of the better managers in the American League.
Joe is something special, and he's unique.
Unique.
I would think most people would think the Yankees.
I would think so too, and that's not a bad pick, of course. It's a good club, and they had a big lead, and they could get hot again. One of the reasons why I kind of was away from them is it doesn't sound like Teixeira is real healthy, and that'll be concerning if he's not able to hit in the middle of the lineup.
Casper fouls it away. He's battling. Was in the hole 0-2. Now it's 1-2. I think the Yankees.
And Markakis is out for the season now with the Orioles. He broke his thumb last night, so Markakis isn't available to the Orioles.
What a hitter he is.
Yes. So a couple of injuries on the 2 teams out in front right now.
So you think Tampa Bay will win the East? I think the Yankees will win the East.
And Longoria is back with them, and he's hitting well. So
and we both think, though the Tigers are 2 back of the White Sox in the Central, we both think Detroit will win. Change, hit well to left. Cespedes back. The runners go halfway. He makes the catch, and Montero and Olivo have to retreat, and that's a big second out for the A's pitcher Tommy Milone.
Well, Casper tried to wait on this changeup, 80 miles an hour. You can see him with the leg kick, the high leg kick. And he just gets out in front of this a little bit, although he's able to hit it off the barrel out towards left field. He's just not able to get much behind it. Those little fractions, Ken, a little bit makes a difference.
Makes you realize how tough it is to hit.
Yes.
Just got it out a little, turn the hands over. Wow. So can Mike Karp come through? He led off last inning with a single and perished at third base. He looks at a ball. So we both think the Tigers will end up winning the Central. Now keep in mind now, Texas has lost today. If Oakland were able to win this game, they'd be only 3.5 out. in the American League West race. That's I mean, it's mind-boggling to me that Baltimore is in a race, but Oakland being in the chase is really hard for me to believe. That's a strike, and it's 1-1, especially sitting back at the Tokyo Dome when the season began. I'm looking at the Oakland A's going, they got a bad ball club.
You didn't know what Reddick was going to do or what kind of player assessment this was going to be, and they've made a big difference as far as this club goes.
What?
It just goes to show you too. You add a couple of players, if you can pitch, you have a chance, and that's what's happened with those clubs.
That's a strike 1 and 2. Well, you know, I always argue that the difference between a club that in these small divisions, top to bottom, is not that far. I mean, you don't look at the Mariners. I mean, they're at 67 wins. That's only 11 wins behind Oakland over 162 games. That's a couple players.
It's a couple of players.
That's it. You know, it's a long winning streak, avoiding a long losing streak. It's not getting an injury or two that another club gets.
And all of a sudden you win a few games and you gain some confidence. You get some momentum going. You start to believe, and things can get turned around. And I think the biggest thing for the Mariners this year is the amount of experience that all the young players, something that Eric Wedge talked about leaving spring training, the experience that they were able to get this year. You hope some of those guys may be one of those players that we're talking about. We just haven't seen it yet.
Yep. So Carp up there, 2 on, 2 outs, 2-2 the count, no score, 4th inning. Tommy Milone, the rookie, pitching for Oakland.
Good swing. That was a pretty good pitch on the outside corner, but it was elevated a little bit. Mike took an aggressive swing at it, was able to stay back long enough, just missed it.
It's interesting when we talked about injuries. Mariners really, in terms of pitching, have had a big year in terms of avoiding injuries.
Yes, they have.
But Mike Carp has had a tough year, obviously.
On opening day in the Tokyo Dome, you were just mentioning it.
Yeah, Gutierrez has had a tough year. You know, you kind of wonder, what would have happened if Carp played all year, played like he did late last season,
right?
Put the big year together.
And Franklin stayed healthy.
And Franklin played all year.
One of the few veteran guys that they had.
You know, this club would not be sitting at 67 wins right now. They'd be up around about where Oakland is, I would say.
You would hope.
Certainly that's fairly realistic. But again, of course,
that's part of the deal, though.
Yeah, but look at Oakland. We mentioned Sizemore missing the season, so it's not like, you know, no team goes through without some fairly.
Well, you were just talking about
injuries.
the Yankees. They lost Alex for a period of time. Granderson was hurt with a hamstring. Now Teixeira's beat up.
Now time called, and Norris will go out to chat with Milone. Then, of course, you look at Oakland. Scott Sizemore is one player. He would have been their everyday third baseman, but then all of a sudden you lose Bartolo Colon when you really need him here in the stretch. Then Brandon McCarthy last Wednesday gets hit with that tragic line drive incident.
Well, that's
in the
why
head.
we'll see if these guys can hang in there.
Yeah. And not easy.
I think right now Milone probably wanted to go back to that breaking ball away from Carp. That's what his out pitch has been to the left-handed hitters in the Mariners lineup.
2-2 the count.
There it is.
Oh, that's a good swing by Carp to survive.
Borderline pitch, didn't want to take a chance and was able to hit it foul. Alex Liddy waiting on deck.
So 2 on, 2 out, still 2-2. Mariners have had some chances here in the 3rd and 4th. 3-2. Patience, patience, patience. Be patient, and also, by the way, be aggressive. There's Liddy on deck. Can Carp deliver a big hit here in the 4th inning? Chris Chambliss, the hitting coach, looking on. Outfield shades a bit to left. And the high hard one, Carp strikes out. And that's 7 strikeouts for Tommy Milone.
into the 5th, scoreless. Hi, everybody. Angie Mentink here at the Ford Sports Desk. We've been focused so much on the American League. Right now, we go over to the seniors circuit, and the Cardinals clinging to that second wild card spot, hosting the Brewers today, and they jump on them. Cardinals in the first inning, 1 on for Matt Holliday. He sends his pitch deep to left field. 2-0 Cards, and then 2 batters later, Carlos Beltran hits a solo shot to right field, his 29th of the season. And right now, well, it's tied up in the 10th inning. The Brewers have come back. Guys?
Thanks, Angie. There you see the National League wild card standings.
Atlanta in great shape for the first wild card spot. Big game for St. Louis. They're trying to hang in there, trying to hold off the Dodgers.
They've had kind of a disappointing season under their new skipper Mike Matheny there in St. Louis. This ball hit well to left by Derek Norris, and back to make the play is Saunders, and that's 1 away here in the 5th inning.
Vargas so far really pitching well, held the Athletics to just 1 hit. Talking about it earlier, struggled a little bit through the first 2 innings, but he's certainly changed things around and has found it. His location on his pitches have been excellent today.
Stephen Drew digs in. He is the last Oakland base runner in this game. Back in the 2nd, he had a 2-out single after Carter walked with 1 out. So they had 2 on and 2 outs, and Adam Rosales flied to center. The other base runner was in the 1st. Gomes was hit by a pitch with 1 out. Moved to 2nd on a slow roller to 2nd, and then at 2nd with 2 down. Ended up there when Cespedes fouled to 1st. So neither team has had much. And the count now on Drew is 2-1. Mentioned Jason high in the league in wins. Only Justin Verlander and Felix Hernandez have pitched more innings than Vargas. And it's 2-2 now on Drew.
It goes back to the old saying, okay, well, you did it last year, do it again, and that's something that Jason has done. He's somebody that I think you can look at as we take a look at our CenturyLink high-speed pitch, both pitchers topping out at 90. The fact that he can durable to pitch over 200 innings, I think that's something that you can rely on at this point with Jason, and expect that when you go into spring training next year, that he's going to give you that kind of work, which when you have Felix pitching ahead of him, that's a couple of days off for your bullpen.
A very enviable situation the Mariners are in with Felix Hernandez and Jason Vargas. Drew taps it foul. The count is full. You talk about pitching a lot of innings, endurance, the consistency, lack of getting injured. We didn't get a chance to talk about it last night, but Davey Johnson, the Washington Nationals skipper yesterday, announcing that Steven Strasburg was done, shut down for the season. And that's with the Washington Nationals bidding for postseason play. Drew is thrown out by Seager. That's 9 straight retired by Jason Vargas. So the Nationals, you know, with a big lead going into play today, 6.5 over Atlanta. But Strasburg, hey, you know, he had the surgery, and young guy, big stud, big star, kind of the guy you're going to count on for 10 years or more. That's it. You're done.
I think it's a tough situation. If you're a fan of the Nationals, obviously you would like to see Strasburg continue. I'm sure his teammates would like it. I know from his comments that he would like to do it. But I think you have to go all the way back into spring training. They predetermined at that point through his doctors and his therapy and everything that this was the number for whatever reason. I don't know where they come up with the number sometimes, but as a group they came up, this was the number that we're going to hold him to. Now, I think the argument comes maybe you start him later or not, but I don't know if the Nationals felt they were going to be in this type of situation either. And I think that if that's what you're going to set it at, you had your reasons, and a big reason is the overall health of this young man who's coming off a Tommy John surgery, and it's a tough decision. But I think at that point, I've watched a number of interviews with Davey Johnson. You mentioned the manager there. He seems to be fine with it and resolute that that's what they were going to do.
Swing and a miss. Now 2-2. The count on Rosales. 9th hitter in the order. Flied out to center his first time up. In a scoreless game, and Vargas has really got it rocking and rolling now here in the 5th inning. Out of play, 2-2. You know, I look at that Strasburg situation. Yeah, I mean, you can see both sides. You know, and I think in the end they've done the right thing. You can't look at, hey, it's September. We want to be in the postseason. We want to win more in the postseason. You've got to think about your club, your overall franchise over a longer span than that.
You already have quite an investment in the young.
Off the end of the stick, foul back.
And I think with the Nationals, with the way that they've played and the rest of the pitching that they have, they're good enough to get themselves into the postseason. I think that he's the guy that you're probably going to miss the most, though, once you're in there.
Yes. I'd say they ought to just be happy to be there. Wasn't long ago the Nationals could hardly win a game. But you get a lot of good draft picks. Here's a liner to center that'll drop in front of Gutierrez. So Rosales, as we mentioned earlier, has always hit the Mariners well, and he has a 2-out 5th inning single, and that ends the streak for Vargas, retiring 9 straight before the base hit.
It was a good battle between Jason and Rosales. Finally gets a base hit on the 7th pitch of this at bat. Hits it hard back up the middle. Solid line drive.
Two hits for the A's, 4 for the Mariners. Neither team has committed an error. And it's the leadoff man, Coco Crisp. He rips the ball to left, a base hit. Rosales takes the turn, and he'll put the brakes on around second as Saunders gets the ball in. So 1 hit allowed through 4 2/3, and now back-to-back singles.
Coco Crisp being aggressive. First pitch fastball hits it hard into left field. Turn around in a hurry. You mentioned retiring 9 straight. It's the first 2 outs in this inning, no problem, and now he has a runner in scoring position in a 0-0 game.
And it brings up the DH, second hitter in the order, Johnny Gomes, hit by a pitch in the first, went down swinging in the third. Vargas has hit a man, walked 1, and struck out 4 today. First pitch, a strike. Boy, Gomes has the knack, doesn't he? Plays with winners. Played first, of course, for a while with Tampa Bay. Then Cincinnati, last season the Reds and the Nationals. Now he comes here. I don't think when the season started, Gomes says, hey, I'm going to be in a pennant race again. I doubt it. And he takes it. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. But here he is again. He's kind of got the magic touch.
He's a guy that provides some power. 15 home runs on the season.
Rosales at second, Crisp at first. The infield very deep, the outfield deep and spread. 2 down, no score. The 1-1. Oh, it's a tie. Saunders goes back just to be nice, and the ball hits the facade of the upper deck in left field. A big 3-run home run for Johnny Gomes here in the 5th inning, and the A's take the lead 3-0. Home run number 16, and Gomes now has 42 RBIs.
One of the few mistakes that Jason has made. This is an 88-mile-an-hour fastball up and in the middle of the plate. And Johnny Gomes, we mentioned the power that he has, his 16th home run of the season, and just like that, the A's out in front 3-0.
It was right off that 42. Right smack in the middle of the Jackie Robinson sign out in left field. Put the measurement on that, 402 feet. He cracked it well. Now the roller, Vargas throws to Carp. Josh Reddick is gone, but the damage done. With 2 outs, back-to-back singles, and Gomes the home run.
Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Northern Quest Casino, Spokane's newest destination resort. By Pizza Hut. Say goodbye to boring with the Pizza Solo. 2 for $5 only at your Pizza Hut. Make it great. And by the Puyallup Fair. Get tickets for the 2012 Puyallup Fair Concert Series. Visit thefair.com for details. You see, that's how you bring the little ones to the game. You put a little earmuffs on them there so they don't have to listen to all the loud noises. And they love it.
That's the old motherly touch there, you see. Mike and I would say, hey, forget it. You're on your own. Here we go. 5th inning. Liddy takes the first pitch for a ball. This one evens it at 1-1 and facing Tommy Malone. Liddy, 226 on the season. Fly to right in the 3rd inning. In Tacoma, he worked a lot on 2-strike situations, trying to cut down on his strikeouts, talking about shortening up his swing. And the one thing the native of Italy says about being in that 2-strike situation is, I just want to try to put the ball in play more rather than striking out, because he says, if I can do that, I'll get the odd hit here and there. This one up the middle, doesn't hit it very hard, but lots of times it's where you hit it rather than how, and Liddy has himself a base hit.
Goes to what he was just talking about. He just puts it in play. 82-mile-an-hour changeup. Hits it off the end of the bat. Probably breaks his bat, but they were playing him to pull, and he hits it back up the middle. You take a look at the eyes of Alex Liddy in our McDonald's Supermo. Good job of keeping his head still as he hits that ball back up the middle. I thought it was interesting, the A's scoring the 3 runs. Their 3rd time through in the lineup, making their adjustments to Jason Vargas. Now it brings up Brendan Ryan hitting 9th after he hits. It'll be the Mariners' turn to work their way 3rd time through against Malone. We'll see what kind of adjustments they can make to him.
Ryan struck out in the 3rd inning. Pops this one foul out of play. 1 strike. Boy, the A's home runs. They've hit a lot of them. That's 161 this season.
They were 7th in the American League coming into this game.
Yeah, they are 7th, and that's, that's darn good.
Right.
And you had the catcher, George Coteras, the 3-run homer that broke open the game Friday night. His 2-run home run broke open the game in the 4th inning last night. And now here in the 5th inning, Johnny Combs with a 3-run homer. The first baseman, Carter, camping under this one. He's got it in foul territory. And there are a situation with 1 on and 1 out now here in the 5th inning. Time now for the Banner Bank Building to the Future. Get yourself a playoff update. Good to see so many farm teams for the M's in the playoffs. The Generals losing to Chattanooga. They lead the series 2-1. The Mavericks in the Class A California League down 1 game to Lancaster. And the Lumber Kings, the Clinton Lumber Kings, trailing by 1 to Wisconsin. That's the Midwest League. Mavericks high A. The Lumber Kings low A. And this one belted by Gutierrez way back. Cespedes, he's at the track and he makes the catch. And if only Franklin had been able to pull it a little bit. But he hits it into the deeper part out in left center field.
Well, he made an adjustment. He went up there ready to hit the first pitch fastball, something that Malone had been trying to do, and he gets a fastball up in the zone. It looks like he puts a good swing on it, maybe gets in on him a little bit as he skies it out to left center field. I thought maybe he had enough of it when he first hit it. He's keeping a close eye on it. He's not sure himself. It ends up being caught on the warning track.
He hit it a long way. But 388 there in front of the bullpen. That's a long way, too.
Talking about hitting it a long way. Michael Saunders ended up getting a fastball inner half of the plate. Same thing, skied it out to right center field. It was caught on the warning track his last time up.
That was with 2 outs, 2 on in the 3rd. They pick off Liddy. The throw to the shortstop high, and that cost the Athletics. Carter's throw too high as they picked him off. And that'll be a stolen base for Alex Liddy. How about that?
I like the way that he did this. He ends up taking off. He's going on first move. Malone, he guesses right and ends up throwing over to first. But Alex does the right time. So many times you see the runners when they know that they're picked off and they stop. He continues to run hard. That's not an easy play for a first baseman and is able to beat the throw into second. I think if you stop, you have no chance. Typically, Major League players are going to work the rundown and get the out, but Alex continuing to run on that pickoff, and he ends up with a stolen base.
In scoring position, third straight inning, the Mariners have had a runner in scoring position. They have stranded 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and now it's up to Michael Saunders. He's in the hole, 1 strike. Saunders, that deep fly the last at bat after striking out swinging in the first inning against Malone. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. So opportunities have certainly been there for Eric Wedge's club today.
Well, they have been, and they have been in this series. You go back and you look at last night's game and what had happened in that one, and I think overall for the Mariners, listen, the A's also second in the league in ERA. They can pitch, but the Mariners did now just 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position. Eric Wedge needs somebody to come up with a big base hit for him to get these guys going.
Mariners have just been lacking the big hits in the last dozen games. They just haven't scored much. They still have managed to go 6-6 in the last 12, but it's been good pitching. Now they need to get the bats hot again. Liddy with that lead at second, 2 down here in the 5th. This one ripped down the line and right. Fair ball into the corner. Here comes Liddy. He'll score. Saunders to second. He hits the bag. He's on the way to third. Rosales is thrown. Not in time. Oh, baby, Saunders delivers a 2-out run-producing triple here in the 5th inning, and it cuts the A's lead to 2.
We were just talking about it needing a big hit. Michael Saunders, we talked about his improvement against left-handers. Our McDonald Supermo gets a fastball. Similar pitch that he missed his last time up, but lines this ball down into the corner. Michael had a groin issue and missed some games, but he clearly looks like he's healthy now as he gets a triple on a ball. Typically is a double for most runners, but Michael sees it down in the corner. Right about there, he realizes he has a chance for 3, and he goes for it.
Always important to pick up the extra base. So many more ways you can score from third than you can score from second. Now the hitter is Jesus Montero, 1 out of 2, and he fouls it back, 1 strike. It would really be helpful if Montero, who now has an 8-game hitting streak and is red hot, could deliver here and get the Mariners back to within 1 in this 3-1 contest.
And he's blistered left-handers on the season. And right now, with Malone getting a first pitch strike, he will pitch to him.
Foul back. He didn't like that. 0-2. Jesus, over the 8-game stretch, has had 28 at-bats and 12 hits. 12 for 28 over the last 8 games, and hitting about 345 now against southpaws. He waves at it, 3 pitches. Malone bounces back to end the inning by striking out Jesus Montero. Hems get on the board.
Today's Tracer Technology is brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
A's on top, 3-1. Still a lot of baseball to be played.
Well, they get one back. Jason Vargas giving up the 3-run homer, and the Mariners coming right back and picking up 1 run. So hopefully Jason can settle back down. He'd been pitching a great game up until the 3-run homer by Gomes. So hopefully he can get right back in line, get deep into this game. 77 pitches so far for Jason. As you look at his line overall, only 1 walk.
He's got the 4, 5, and 6 hitters here. Yoenis Cespedes is fouled to first and popped to second. This is the 20th straight game that Cespedes has gone without a home run, hitting 16 this season. Gets a pitch away, and that's what you do with that a lot of times. Seager throws him out. 4-3 to start the 6th inning for Oakland. Seager playing second, Ackley getting the day off. Liddy starting at third. We're talking about Seager earlier. You can count on him, pencil him in for 2013. You know, is he a third baseman? Is he a second baseman? Is Ackley a second baseman? Is Ackley a left fielder? I think a lot of it depends on how the other players come along. You've got some players coming up in the minors. You got a couple of shortstops that are worth looking at. You got a young third baseman here. You got Liddy still. The Mariners have some, I think, some flexibility. It's just a case of which players develop and which become regular everyday players in this league, be it at third base or second base or left field.
And I would say this about it. I think that Kyle has certainly shown that he's a well above average third baseman.
Yes.
I think we've seen enough of him at second, which is, I think, his natural position, something he's comfortable with. He's definitely comfortable at second, no problem moving him there. I would say this. Dustin Ackley this year, by the way, a well-deserved day off. He's really shown a lot, playing a lot for Eric Wedge this year. But Dustin's done a good job at second base. He's handled that position just fine. He's also played some outfield in college, so I think he would be comfortable going back there. What it does is it gives you flexibility.
Yes.
And that's something that Eric Wedge and Jack Zarenza can use. Got a good pitch by Jason Vargas.
Great change.
And a 3-1 count. But that's something that the organization can look at, and if they need to move somebody to make room for somebody else to come in and help this club, then they're going to be able to do that with the flexibility that those two guys have shown.
3-2 pitch. Did he swing? No, says first base umpire James Hoy. So Carter walks for the second time. He's aboard here in the 6th inning with 1 out. And the big thing is you've got so many young players that have come up the last couple of seasons and so many more coming that it is just a question of who's going to produce, who's going to move into a spot and say, as Seager has done this season. Seager has said, I'm an everyday big leaguer. Right. Ackley is an everyday big leaguer. Everybody still believes he'll hit more than he has hit so far. First pitch to Josh Donaldson is ball 1. So it's it's just a case of playing checkers here, seeing what happens, or chess more happily, I guess. And the players determine it themselves.
They do. There's no question about that.
Swing and a miss, 1-1. It'd be interesting. I'm enjoying it.
And I think, again, if the organization feels if they need to make a move and they bring somebody in, let's say that that's somebody that can help them offensively as a third baseman, then you have some moves you can make to keep all of them involved and in the lineup on an everyday basis because of the flexibility of Kyle and Dustin.
Fly ball off the bat of Donaldson. To his right is Saunders. He's got it. 2 down. Back to first goes Carter. Mariners trailing by 2. Fans, mark your calendars. Friday the 21st. The M's celebrate Fan Appreciation Night here at Safeco Field. All of you are going to receive a Mariners team poster, plus automatically be entered to win some fabulous prizes all game long, including a Kindle Fire Blu-ray player, Mariners autographs, a flat screen TV, and much, much more. So join us as the Mariners say thanks when you get your tickets at mariners.com/fan. Fan Appreciation Night, Friday the 21st. First pitch to Norris, fouled away. That'll be the opener of that big 3-game series with the Texas Rangers Friday night, the 21st. See the story on Derek Norris today, 0 for 2, 23-year-old catcher. And we mentioned Alex Liddy playing third today. Had the big year last year, power year with Tacoma. Started the season with the Mariners. This one is outside and it's 1-1. Liddy was saying again before the game that when he went down to Tacoma, he not only worked on his hitting, but he played a lot of left field. Now that tells you something right there, because I think most people would say
he's trying to create opportunities.
Yeah, and he would say, I'm a first baseman, third baseman, and he still says it. But where did the Mariners play him a lot? In Tacoma, as the count goes to 1-2. Left field. It's like Mike Carp. Mike Carp's really a first baseman. Where were they playing him? Where did he start the season? Left field. So you've got Liddy, who could be a first baseman, left fielder. There's Carp. He could be a first baseman, left fielder. You've got Justin Smoke still in the picture at first base. You've got Ackley, swing and a miss. Big strikeout. And Ackley has played some first base in college as well as left field. Kind of interesting as the Mariners move forward. That's it for the A's in the sixth. It's a 2-run ball game.
Yellow Boat, far more than the 2-run equivalent back, but just came back to win it here, so the Mariners can. Hi, everybody. Angie Mentig at the Ford Sports Desk. We told you earlier about the Cardinals in a tie ball game, and we now update you on that score. It went to extra innings, both the Cardinals and also, the Brewers. I just couldn't get it out, guys. Bottom of the 10th, Alan Craig is the one that delivers the RBI single, and Matt Carpenter barely beats the throw. Cardinals take the series finale 5-4 in our Sterling Banks score. Guys?
All right, Angie.
Tough shadows there in St. Louis, it looked like.
Nice sunny day. There you go. There you see the NL wild card situation. Up for grabs, as they say. Seager leads it off here in the 6th inning. 1-1 the count. The score is 3-1 Oakland. The Mariners have had 3 consecutive innings with excellent scoring opportunities against Tommy Milone. And there's a smash to right field on a hanging curve. Back, Reddick, up the wall, it is gone! And the Mariners get another run back. Kyle Seager leads off the 6th inning with his 17th home run of 2012, and RBI number 79 leading this ball club.
One of the reasons why Kyle Seager has been so good in the clutch later in the games, making adjustments. If you go back to his first at bat, he was a strikeout victim on a breaking ball, and then he hit a fly ball to left field. But you take a look at this pitch, a breaking ball. He is sitting on it and jumps all over this pitch as he hammers it into the seats in right field. Good swing. The Mariners within 1.
Now Oliva, the next pitch, and Oliva rips a base hit to left field, and Miguel is 2 for 3 here this afternoon.
Second base hit for Miguel Oliva as we take another look at this swing by Kyle Seager. A lot of power in that swing. Gets it from his lower half. Something that he worked on last winter after the season. Wanted to be able to hit for more power. As you see Reddick trying to bring it back in.
Look at that.
That's a great effort. He's way up there. Tried to get on top of it. But by then the ball's into the seats.
Can you stand there? Stand up at the top?
Sure.
Let's go for it.
Why not?
The trick is you got to get there.
You have to get there.
It's okay if you stand up there, but try to get there. First pitch to Casper Wells is a ball. So here come the Mariners. They finally, after having 2 on in the third, 2 runners on in the fourth, came up with a run last inning. Liddy, a leadoff single, stole second. With 2 outs, Saunders tripled him in. Now here in the 6th inning, the home run by Seager to make it 3-2 Oakland. Olivo with a base hit. And now Casper Wells finds himself in a good spot, 2-0 against the youngster Tommy Milone.
Well, this next pitch for Milone will be number 90, so Scrivener gets up and starts to get loose in the pen. They'll try to get him loose in a hurry. And all these games are huge for the Athletics, trying to stay in this race to get into the wild card spot.
Wells takes it, a strike. Texas has already lost. If Oakland does hold on and win this game, they'll be only 3.5 games out of first place in the West, besides the wild card. Three balls and a strike.
Still nobody out for the Mariners. And Carp waiting on deck. A solid base hit to right field.
One thing about Tommy Milone is he doesn't walk hitters. He hasn't walked anyone today. His last 13 starts, either 1 walk or no walks in each start. What a big help that is. Foul back over the net, out of play. A souvenir, and it's 3 balls, 2 strikes on the Mariners' right fielder today, Casper Wells. There's Seager. I was kidding him. He had shaved his head there recently. Said, hey, your hair's growing back. Yeah, I gotta trim it. Trim it. Big spot here. Can the Mariners keep it going? Add more than the 1 here in the 6th inning. We've got ourselves a terrific ball game. Olivo is back easily. So the Athletics, who have been really terrific on the road, they've won 8 straight on the road. And 18 of their last 21 on the road. I mean, when does that happen? Bob Melvin he's got to get a lot of credit. Great success in his first full season here with the A's. Foul back again.
A lot of conversation about him being manager of the year in the American League. Buck Showalter, and they're also with Baltimore.
Boy, when you win 18 out of 21 on the road, you're showing us something. Of course, Melvin managed here for a time. Olivo at first, nobody out here in the 6th inning. Big 3-2 pitch from Milone to Wells. And a throw to first to keep an eye on Miguel. The crowd, 14,403 here this afternoon. A come from behind contest for the Mariners, and they're doing just that. Wells, the upstate New York native, jumps on the pitch but pops it up on the infield. Carter coming in, the second baseman Rosales taking charge, makes the catch. I believe it was Rosales who was yelling and running and yelling, but Carter thought he was going to make the play. But either way, it's out number 1.
I think you're right. I think Rosales was the one coming in from the second base position, calling for the ball, but you can see Carter almost hit his arm and knocked his glove out of the way. That would have been a great break for the Mariners. I'm not sure that Olivo would have been able to get down to second base in time if the ball had dropped. Maybe if it kicked away from him a little bit, but they end up making the catch.
Now at the plate, you've got Mike Carp. Of course, he packs some punch. The runner goes. The pitch up and in. The throw. It gets just by. No advance here by Olivo. And Miguel has himself a stolen base. You've got to make things happen. And that's one thing about Eric Wedge. He is not bashful. Stolen base number 2 for Olivo.
Take a look at it as Olivo dives in, trying to make the play on him, but he forgets to get the ball. Almost blocked his hand there with his foot.
It's one thing about a head first or hand first slide. As a fielder, you're not bashful about blocking the bag. Try going in the old Ty Cobb way. You don't stand always right in front of that bag with those cleats coming at you.
No, you get spiked one time, and that typically will clean it up.
Yeah. So Carp up there now with a 1-0 count. He'll step out. So all of a sudden, and again here, 4 straight innings. Terrific opportunities for the Mariners. And they've got the potential tying run at second base with only 1 out. Carp to be followed by Liddy. That's a strike at 89 miles per hour. There's Neshek, who pitched last night, the side armor, and Scribner. They both worked last night, in fact. Scribner took care of things with a 1-2-3 ninth inning in that 6-1 A's win, which was last night. Don't get confused. Friday night was also an Oakland 6-1 triumph. Carp 1-1. Now 2 balls and a strike.
Well, this is where it gets interesting, too, for managers. You have the expanded rosters, plenty of extra players. And for Eric Wedge, because Malone started the game, he has a number of left-handers on his bench he can go to if they bring the righty in. Look at Eric Thames, Dustin Ackley, John Jaso.
Olivo getting a pretty nice lead out at second base. And Malone decides to step off. He and Carp kind of battling wits here. Neither in a big rush. Outfield shades just a bit to left field for Mike Carp. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Another pitch with some mustard at 89 miles per hour, and that's about where Malone tops out.
Another fastball. This fastball is up above the belt. You can see Mike fighting, trying to get the barrel to it. He has a strikeout, and it was on a high fastball.
Now you got to expect something off speed. We'll see here from Malone. I'll be darned. Well, I'll be. Is that the first time he's thrown 3 pitches hard in a row? It's got to be.
Probably.
I think so. So 2 down. Well, subscribe, folks, to MLB.TV today, and you'll be able to take advantage of new low pricing. And you'll see every remaining Mariners out-of-market game live, online, and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Mariners.com to order and get more details. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. Nothing better than having baseball everywhere. Here is Alex Liddy trying to bring Olivo in here in the 6th inning with 2 outs and tie this game at 3. Swing and a miss way out in front. Stand on deck and you see 3 fastballs. You go up there all
ready. Here comes the changeup.
Yeah, what is this? Am I any different than the other fella? Give me a fastball.
I think Bob Melvin realizing the same thing that we were talking about as far as the lefties available to Eric Wedge, and so he decided to go with Malone as starter against a younger player in Liddy. See if Alex can make him pay for it. Malone now over 100 pitches, 101 on the afternoon.
Liddy with a base hit leading off last inning, got picked off first, ended up safe at second, a stolen base, and then with 2 outs scored on the Saunders triple. That made it 3-1 Oakland, and now Seager has tied it, or I should brought in a run to make it 3-2 with a home run leading off here in the 6th, and now the chance to tie it. And Liddy up there, 2 balls and a strike. Alex Liddy from Italy. First Italian-born big leaguer since Rino Bertoia. Ground ball foul. Both wearing number 16 in the big leagues. And I do need to ask Liddy if there's any connection. I doubt it. I think it's just chance.
I would guess that is probably a number that was given to him.
Yeah.
I don't think it was something he requested, but you never know.
What number did you wear?
16.
16.
So did Willie Bloomquist.
There you go. 2-2. And Liddy goes down swinging. So 2 very big strikeouts here in the 6th inning for Malone. After 6, 3-2 A's.
Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your local Lexus dealers who invite you to test drive a Lexus today. And by ANA, Japan's leading airline, now operating a daily flight to Tokyo. Visit flyana.com. Ken, Mike, back to you.
Okay, Angie, thank you very much. We've got ourselves quite a ball game and some clouds today. Where did they come from? Been so long, over 50 days of no rain. Certainly not threatening rain at all, just a little bit cloudy and a little bit cooler. Jason Vargas watching his team come back in after a scoreless game turned into a 3-0 A's lead in the 5th inning when Gomes hit a home run. Mariners get a run back in the 5th and a run back in the 6th inning.
Josh Kinney getting loose in the Mariners pen. Jason now 92 pitches.
First pitch to Stephen Drew, sent very high, not all that deep, but going back a long, long way onto the track to make the catch as well. As they get up in a wind stream, doesn't seem to be windy, but
not much of a breeze at all.
That ball wasn't going that far, was it? Wow, there are the pitching matchups coming up, and you see Erasmo Ramirez will get the call Tuesday night in Toronto, followed by Kevin Millwood and Felix Hernandez. And that's certainly a note the last few days. The Mariners making it clear that Ramirez was going to get a start, and also Hector Noesi was going to get a start. Our Lexus pitching matchups. The off day tomorrow, then 3 in Toronto, 3 in Texas. The telecast the next 3 days at 4 in the afternoon. Be interesting to see Ramirez certainly on Tuesday night, and Noesi when he gets his start.
For Ramirez, it's going to come down to his command, and he's somebody as he's shot through the minor leagues. That was kind of his calling card, able to throw strikes. You take a look at both of them right there, Ramirez and Noesi, out in the bullpen today. But I think that's something that for them that they need to show here at this level. They have the stuff. We've talked about that. As you see this fly ball out to right field, no problem for Casper. Good stuff. Just you have to be able to pitch ahead and count. Both of them certainly aware of that.
So Drew and Rosales, the 8th and 9th hitters, both fly to right field. And if the A's are to do anything in the 7th inning, it'll be up to the leadoff hitter, Coco Crisp, who is fouled to Saunders in left to start the game. And Saunders made a dramatic catch reaching into the crowd. Since Crisp has grounded out and singled to left, scored ahead of Gomes back in the 5th with that 3-run Gomes homer. Ball 1. Coco Crisp. A switch hitter batting right-handed today against Vargas, who drops one in for a strike, 1-1. So the Mariners pitching rotation here with 21 games to go after today, changing a little bit, but not dramatically at all.
It's going to give some opportunities to a couple of the young guys. Not much of a surprise.
2-1. Now 3-1. And the skipper, Eric Wedge, saying that, you know, we got some guys up here, and he says, I want to get them in there, but he says, I want to win. He says, I'm not really concerned about the opportunities I'm going to give to these players up in September from Tacoma. He says, I'm more interested in us having a strong confidence building finish to the season.
I think that is important. I think it also is good for these guys to be here, and I think just being around it and watching it every day will help them.
3-2 pitch wide, and a walk with 2 outs given up here by Vargas. Well, make Monday the 17th a night out here at Safeco for the entire gang. Great opportunity, folks. It's BECU Family Night. The Orioles will be here. That'll be the opener of that big 3-game series. Monday the 17th, 7:10 start. You score with some select view-level seats for the entire gang for only $10 when you pick up tickets at any Mariners team store or mariners.com/specials. 3 in Toronto, 3 in Texas, and then that series with Baltimore.
And Carl Willis out having a conversation with Jason. Jason now at 102 pitches.
So that conversation over. 5th inning, Gomes. 2 outs, 2 on.
He's the difference in the game. It's a high fastball that he hits off of the second deck. Hits the Jackie Robinson sign out there. 3-run homer for Gomes. His 16th home run of the season.
And here he comes now with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Crisp at first. And it's no longer 3-0. The Mariners now are down by just a run. Vargas has just been terrific, with the exception of the damage done with 2 outs back in the 5th. He had retired 9 in a row to get the 2 outs in the 5th inning. Then the 9th hitter, Rosales, had the base hit to center. Then Crisp, the base hit to left. You go, okay, well, this is all right. Still 0-0. But that mistake to Gomes has really turned it around. But the Mariners, to their credit, have done a nice job coming back. Swing and a miss. Strike 1 on the veteran Gomes.
Josh Kenny certainly ready to go in the pen. Eric Wedge having to make a decision. Probably if they bring in Kenny, you would see Seth Smith, maybe Brandon Moss or Contreras, who's already homered twice in this series. And so he's going to leave his left-hander out there to face Gomes.
Gomes does not get this pitch with good position on that offering, and it's 0-2.
2 good change-ups from Jason. Both of them off the plate, trying to keep the ball away from him. Jason,
Great college player, finished his college career at Long Beach State. He could swing the bat when he was in college. Swing and a miss. Talk about fishy. So another strikeout for Vargas. We've seen a lot of strikeouts from both Vargas and Malone.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Well, the 7th inning at Safeco Field. This nice Sunday afternoon crowd. Very pleasant day. Good ball game. 3-2. The Mariners trail as they get ready to bat in the 7th inning against a new Oakland Athletics pitcher.
And the new pitcher, Pat Neshek, former Twin, will take over. We'll also get a pinch hitter. Pinch hitting for Brendan Ryan. It'll be Dustin Ackley. Ackley getting a chance to pinch hit. Trying to get something going. Be nice to get Dustin on the bases. As we take a look at the numbers for Neshek, he's pitched well. 13 innings, has an 0.69 ERA, 14 strikeouts, only 4 walks, opponent's average 133.
So Ackley is pinch hitting for Ryan. He looks at a pitch, a strike called. Dustin comes in hitting 230, 10 homers, 48 RBIs. On deck is the leadoff hitter Gutierrez, and that's in there. And Ackley looks at 2, and he's in the hole 0-2.
Numbers for Tommy Malone. He pitched well. 104 pitches. Look at that. 10 strikeouts. Did not walk a batter. Gave up a couple of runs. They were earned on 8 hits.
That one doesn't miss by a lot, and it's 1-2 on Ackley. Trying to get something going here in the 7th. The Mariners have had opportunities after being retired in order in the 1st and 2nd. They've had opportunities in every inning, as you see Blevins, the left-hander, and Cook, the right-hander. Another one just missing. 2-2 from Neshek, who's a veteran at age 32, picked up early in August from the Orioles by the A's.
Not overpowering, trying to run that good sinker off the outside corner to Ackley, keeping the ball away from him.
Little change up. The catcher, Norris, and he makes the play to Carter, and Ackley, the pinch hitter, is gone, 1 away. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced nor retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. Ken Wilson along with Mike Blowers here at Safeco Field. I'm having a good time here. This is the first time last night and today that we've had a chance to work this season.
That's right. You've been over on the radio side a number of times this year.
I've been hanging around.
Yeah, you've been around.
Here is Gutierrez.
You've even had to make a few road trips.
Yeah, I know. I had to get a new suitcase. Dave Sims on assignment. That's why I'm in his chair here today.
It's great to have you.
It's nice to be here. Thank you. I'm enjoying it. Like to see a victory, though. Out of play, and it's 2 strikes. You and I are going to visit again on TV when the club's in Oakland for one game on a Sunday late in the season.
Last road trip of the year.
Yeah. So we'll get together one more time on TV.
Okay. Going to have to pack a suitcase again, though.
I know. Go down there for
right
3
about
days.
the time you thought you were done with all of that after all your years of doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Look at you.
You never know. Outside 1-2. So this is my last game at Safeco for the season. This could be my last game ever. Can you imagine that? This could be about the 10th time I've had my last game ever. I'm the guy who'll never go away.
Somehow I don't think so.
1 out, nobody on here in the 7th. Gutierrez facing the reliever Pat Neshek, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Franklin 1 for 3. You can see Neshek keeping the ball away from Franklin Gutierrez.
Oakland got 3 in the 5th. Gomes homer. Mariners a run back in the 5th. Saunders a 2-out triple. Then Seager a leadoff homer in the 6th inning. Another one off to the right, out of play. Still a ball, 2 strikes. Talking about Oakland pitchers, we mentioned Brandon McCarthy earlier. Hit by a line drive in the head last Wednesday. Epidural hemorrhage, brain contusion, skull fracture. Liner off the bat of Eric Ibar. None of that sounds good. Not life-threatening, and the reports today apparently from the hospital in the Bay Area that he's better. Things are looking better, so that's good. There's a foul off the mask of the catcher Norris. So our best wishes, of course, to Brandon McCarthy and his family. That's scary.
Frightening is what it is. Did you get a chance to see the replay on it? I did, and
I did not.
It was scary looking. He was able to. The thing about it too is he was able to walk off on his own once they were able to get him to his feet.
Yeah.
And then he started having all the other issues and had to go over to the hospital.
Boy. Ball stroke to left center, coming in and over Cespedes, and he makes the catch. 2 away here in the Mariners' 7th. I guess the most famous incident like that, and it's amazing. You watch all the games we watch, that you see those shots up the middle. How surprising it is.
Doesn't happen more often.
More pitchers
I
don't
agree.
get hit.
We've had that conversation,
Yeah.
and it's scary. Yeah.
You'd think it would happen more often. I guess the most famous is Melvin comes out. Apparently, to go to the pen was back in the 50s when Herb Score, great young left-hander for the Indians, got hit by the Yankees' Gil McDougall, a line drive, and of course was never the same. So the A's are going to go to the bullpen. 7th inning of play, and Oakland is on top 3-2. We'll be right back. Coors Light Freeze Can. There you go. Great shots, great moments, great job by our veteran crew here at Safeco Field. Always a terrific job by our guys in the truck, the cameramen, and the gals. I don't know if we have anybody back from the real old days, but I know Mark Engelbrecht, our director, goes back to my days here with Dave Niehaus, 82, I believe. So it's nice to be comfortable, everybody doing such great work. With 2 outs, the new pitcher, Jerry Blevins, and a nice running catch in left by Cespedes. And Blevins, the lefty, gets the job done with 1 pitch.
Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Snoqualmie Casino, Seattle's premier entertainment, gaming, and dining destination. By Sterling Bank, life is about the good stuff. Your bank should be too. Visit our new website at bankwithsterling.com. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Ken.
All right, Angie, new pitcher. As you look at the skyline of our great city here and the crowd enjoying it out in the pen, enjoying this afternoon, hoping the Mariners are able to come back and get a victory. They trail only 3-2, and Josh Kinney will come on and work in the 8th inning.
Josh, his numbers, 25 strikeouts and 13 walks. He's held opponents to a 182 average. He will use his slider, throw that pitch a lot, also mix in a curveball. His fastball will be 93, 94 miles an hour.
And he's going to face Josh Reddick, who's 0 for 3. 1 for 13 in the series, and that just begins to tell the story of his hitting woes. Ball 1.
Kawasaki will take over at shortstop. Actually came on to pinch hit for Brendan Ryan, so Kawasaki in the game now, gets to play some defense.
The count on Reddick is 2-0. Reddick, then Cespedes, and then Carter against the veteran Kinney here in the 8th inning. 3-2 Oakland. 1 for 13 in the series, and I said that only tells the start of things for Reddick. 2-1. Reddick in the last 8 games has had 31 at bats and only 3 hits. Those 3 for 31 skids are not that much fun.
No, they're not, but if you play every day at the major league level, you typically will find one of those along the way.
Kind of evens out those 15 for 31 spills. 3 balls, 1 strike on Reddick, so he's got to be saying, okay, here we go. Now I'm in a spot that I can really do something. Good pitch away. Good enough for a strike, and if you're Reddick, you're going, not really a great pitch to hit.
Not when you're ahead 3-1. But a good pitch from Kinney, not giving in to him through the slider on the outside corner.
And it's ball 4. So the A's, with the lead in the 8th, have the leadoff man on. Vargas walked only 2, struck out 6 over 7, 3 runs, 4 hits. Big Sky Football kicks off Saturday the 22nd here on Root Sports. Presented by your local Ford dealers, your local Ford stores. They've got it all. And the live action gets started with Northern Arizona taking on the Montana Grizzlies at 12:30. That's Saturday the 22nd. You're right here. It's your new home for Big Sky Football, Root Sports. Yoenis Cespedes 0 for 3 today. Ball 1.
Number of right-handers in the lineup. Cespedes, Carter, Donaldson, Norris, all of them hitting right-handed to start the game against Vargas. But Charlie Furbush up and getting ready in the bullpen. Number of lefties available.
Breaking ball to Kawasaki, to Seager, to Clark. And there's the first double play of the afternoon. 2 down in the A's 8th inning.
Kawasaki just coming into the game. The ball will usually find you. And that's the case here. Nice routine ground ball, easy double play to turn for the Mariners.
Yeah, interesting. You usually see a lot of plays for the shortstops. Brendan Ryan just had that one play.
Backhanded play early in the game.
Yeah, back in the 3rd inning. That's the only play he had in 7 innings. That's not much for a shortstop. Fly ball, soft, off the bat of Carter. Kawasaki out, Saunders in, and Michael Saunders makes the catch. Now to the bottom of the 8th, and Montero will lead it off. Sights and sounds from the ballpark. Great work by Tom Simonson, videotape. Well, if you had any idea, folks, how many people it takes to put on a terrific telecast, you'd be amazed. All sorts of hands, minds get involved to make these telecasts. I'm Ken Wilson with Mike Blowers, and we have the easy job. We just sit here and watch the game like you folks do at home. Ryan Cook takes over for Oakland on the mound.
He has pitched well for the A's this year. 2.58 ERA. How about 64 strikeouts, over 59 in the third. Opponent's average is 171. He's given up 4 home runs this year. Cook above average fastball. He'll be in the mid-90s. Also uses slider. We'll get the middle of the order for the Mariners. It'll be Montero, Seager, and Olivo due up here in this inning.
Montero has extended his hitting streak to 8 straight with a single in 3 tries, striking out the other 2 times. Jesus takes the pitch. It's a ball. So we have seen Tommy Milone, Pat Nesher, Jerry Blevins to get the final out last inning, and now Cook here in the 8th. And it is 2-0 on Montero. Cook is from California, pitched at the University of Southern California, so he's a USC product. Originally drafted by Arizona in 2008. 3-0. Last December traded to the A's from Arizona. Pitched in 12 games with the Diamondbacks last season, his first taste of the big leagues, and he's seen plenty of beauty this year, as Mike pointed out. 3 balls and a strike on Montero. Seager on deck. The defense spread on Montero, and he fouls it back. Tried to smash one here on 3-1. You see the action in the A's bullpen.
It's like Travis Blackley.
It is.
Mariner, yeah.
Yeah. The Australian Travis Blackley. Montero ready, the 3-2, and that's out of play.
And so far, all fastballs from Ryan Cook. He has a good one today. He's throwing 96 miles an hour.
The A's 3 in the 5th on a Gomes homer. The Mariners single tallies in the 5th and 6th. Now trying to tie or take the lead in the 8th. To his left, Drew gobbles it up, flips the ball, just barely gets anything on it to first in time, and Montero is gone. Fans this season, the Mariners and PACCAR have teamed up to support reading in our communities. For each RBI the Mariners record this season, PACCAR will donate $100 to Page Ahead for its child and family literacy program. The Mariners thank everyone for their continued partnership. Always nice to do something for the youngsters, especially if you can promote literacy. Kyle Seager, a home run leading off the 6th inning, fouls it back.
Kyle looked like he tried to hit another one. He had a fastball in the middle of the plate, turned it loose. Solo home run in the 6th, his 17th of the year. That leads the club along with his 79 RBIs.
The Mariners now with 122 home runs this season. They're 11th in the league in that department. Out of play, 2 strikes. Of course, when it comes to hitting, these 2 clubs bring up the rear in the American League. The A's with a team average of 237-13. Mariners with a team average of 232-14. Of course, scoring runs, as you see Wilhelmsen in the pen, is what it's about. Average isn't the key. It's how many runs you score, but it still tells a story. You're not going to score a lot of runs if you don't get some hits, and that's strike 3 called on Kyle Seager. 2 down here in the 8th.
Well, that's something where the A's, that's the difference, I think, for them this year more than probably years past. They're 7th in home runs, but they're also 4th in stolen bases. So they've done a couple of different things to try to score some runs and help their good pitching out.
So 2 down, base is empty, and here is Miguel Olivo. And ball one on the Mariners catcher. He's had a good day with the bat. Olivo is 2 for 3 and now hitting .216 on the season.
Miguel looking for his 10th home run of the season. This would be a good time for it.
And you know, you talk about runs. The Mariners have played 2 more games than Oakland, but Oakland has 593 runs. The Mariners have 535. So their batting averages are similar, but Oakland scored quite a few more runs. 2-1 on Olivo. How about Texas? Again, the Mariners 535 runs scored. Texas going into today, and they were shut out. 714 runs, almost 200 more than the Mariners. That'll make a difference.
And the Mariners will be there next weekend in Arlington.
Boy, that's some runs. Over in the National League, the Cardinals lead the league in runs, but they're nowhere near 700. They're only at 670. So that's extraordinary where Texas is. Out of play, 2-2 the count on Olivo.
Of course, no DH in the National League, and
yeah,
I would guess that designated hitter probably the difference between those two clubs. The designated hitter for Texas.
American League with a little higher average in the National League, more home runs in the American League. If you're interested, Texas, by the way, shut out today for only the 4th time this season. Still life for Miguel, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And Ryan Cook continues to just pump fastballs in there. This will be the 7th pitch coming up to Miguel Olivo as he fouls this pitch off.
Bang.
Wow. That's a great shot.
Part of the deal. You want to be an umpire? It's all part of it. Good news is, in the big leagues, 3 out of 4 games, you don't have the issue. You're out in the bases. 2-2, foul back, so Olivo making Cook throw some pitches.
That's the first breaking ball we've seen from Cook. Tired of watching Miguel foul all those fastballs. I'll try to trick him with a slider, and he's still able to foul it off.
You know, I mentioned Texas shut out for only the 4th time all season. Only one team in the American League has been shut out less than Texas. Which team, Mike?
One team. I would say. About the Tigers.
You're right. They've been shut out only twice. Here's Norris, foul ground. He makes the catch, and the Mariners in the 8th go 1-2-3. Stay with us. The 9th inning is coming up next. It's time for our Sterling Bank Nobody Works Harder For You.
And time back in the 5th inning. Today is Johnny Gomes. The Athletics just 4 hits today, 3 of them coming back in the 5th inning, including that 3-run home run by Gomes, the difference in this game today. Mariners behind 3-2, trying to make up the difference. Josh Kinney will stay on and pitch for the Mariners.
And he will face Josh Donaldson, Derek Norris, and Stephen Drew. Other than that Gomes home run, the Athletics have really not mustered much. In the other 7 innings, they've been shut out on 1 hit. Yeah. But that home run can do it. They get 4 hits and they bunch 3 in a row, culminated by the Gomes home run in the 5th inning. Ball 1 on Donaldson, who's 0 for 3, playing third base, hitting .226. Kinney in relief of Vargas, and a foul ball, 1-1. Josh Kinney, you would have to say, is a survivor, and he's a pitcher that would say, hey, I absolutely never thought I'd be in the big leagues. I can't believe I'm here, as you see Charlie Furbush behind him. And I think Josh is probably as appreciative of every time he goes out on the mound as anybody who's ever played, because he just never thought he'd be in the big leagues. Off-speed pitch, hit well. Saunders back, and this one is gone. Donaldson, a 1-1 off-speed pitch, belts it out of here for his 7th home run of the campaign. And now it's a 2-run game, 4-2 Oakland.
Well, for Josh Kinney, he has lived on his breaking ball this year, and that's what this is, 79 miles an hour. Left it in. He wanted that pitch to be away, just enough to get over the scoreboard out in left field. For Donaldson, his 7th home run of the season.
And now it'll be Derek Norris. So the Athletics have made the most of their hits with the 2 home runs today. Ball 1. Doesn't feel any better than that when you hit a long one. That one is tight, 2-0. Josh Kinney pitched at Quincy College, little college in Quincy, Illinois, on the banks of the Mississippi River, not far too up the river, far from St. Louis. Ground ball foul, 2-1. Got done with his college career. He's from Pennsylvania, had a job lined up in Pennsylvania where he'd worked in the summer. He's out of college, packs his car on the campus, set to go. Want to say goodbye to his baseball coach. Baseball coach says, Josh, I got a favor to ask for you. I don't think you ought to head home and take that job. There's a strike, 2-2. Josh says, no, coach, I am going home. I start tomorrow. I'm on my way. And he says, you know what? There's a place you can try out. I think you ought to try pro ball. There's an independent team in St. Louis. They got tryouts. Why don't you go down there? Do a favor for me. I gave you a chance. Go to the tryout. Soft fly left field. Saunders makes the catch. And that's the first out of the Athletics, 9th inning. Josh said, you know, I really can't. But he felt obligated to the coach at Quincy College. So they make a phone call. His car doesn't go to Pennsylvania. It goes down the Mississippi to O'Fallon, Missouri, suburb of St. Louis. He tries out for the independent Frontier League River City Rascals, makes the team, makes 3 starts, gets signed by the Cardinals, and becomes the first River City Rascal to pitch in the big leagues. This was in 2001. He made the big leagues with the Cardinals in 2006. He'll go to the showers. The Mariners make a pitching change. new Mariners pitcher. And there you see a score from the Southern League playoffs. So our Jackson Generals, the Mariners AA farm team, win it. They beat Chattanooga 8-2. There's Mike Zunino doing what he seems to do every game. And congratulations, the Generals advance to the Southern League Finals. They have had what I'm sure all observers in the Southern League are saying this season, a loaded team.
Well, they have, and you take a look at that number, 18 hits. 18 hits for them today, so they beat them up pretty good. Had a successful year. And that's with the number of the guys leaving Jackson and moving up in the organization. They continue to win. It's Charlie Furbush will take over for the Mariners. A 2.27 ERA, 51 strikeouts, just 13 walks for Charlie. He's held opponents to a 1.59 average. Charlie with a good fastball. He'll be in the low 90s. Also mix in a slurve. It's been an effective pitch against the left-handers this year. He's really pitched well. Had to go on the DL for a short period of time.
Stephen Drew, the first man he faces, naturally a left-handed hitter, and Stephen today is 1 for 3. There's a strike. You got all those numbers on Furbush, and maybe the most significant numbers, left-handed hitters hitting only 141 against him. 71 at bats. Lefties have had only 10 hits off Charlie.
That is getting it done. But the Mariners, their biggest strength has been their bullpen, and all the left-handers have pitched well out of the pen. You have Charlie, and then, of course, Lucas Litke and Oliver Perez since he was called up. All three of them have done their job. Been a nice compliment to the hard-throwing right-handers that they have out.
The slow curve, it's 1-2. Now the sun comes out brightly for the first time this afternoon. We've had a little bit of sun, but just teasing us. There's one of those hard-throwing right-handers, Stephen Pryor. What a very pleasant day. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Stephen Drew. Furbush, of course, toyed by the Mariners as a starter last season after coming over from the Tigers, and made 10 starts for the M's last season in his 11 appearances. But he's become an ace in the bullpen. Can't bend it enough. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, he's thrown 4 breaking balls in this at bat, and he's left them all inside. He wants to get that pitch off the plate away, but he's having a tough time finding his spot.
One out, nobody on here in the 9th for Oakland. This one popped up. Seager has to battle the sun now and makes the play. And there are 2 away. 4-2, the Mariners trailing it here as Donaldson has added to the lead with a homer here leading off in the 9th. Folks, coming up this Thursday here on Root Sports, it's the high school football game of the week. Be sure to watch the Knights of Kings High School as they take on the Archbishop Wildcats. That's at 7:30 Thursday. Catch your favorite local teams in action every Thursday this fall here on Root Sports. 9th hitter in Bob Melvin's order, Adam Rosales, 1 for 3. He got it started back in the 5th inning. We had a 0-0 game. Jason Vargas against Tommy Malone, all pitching. Rosales with 2 outs single in the 5th. Coco Crisp followed with a single. And then Gomes, the 3-run homer off the facing of the upper deck and left. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Mariners getting a run back in the 5th on the 2-out Michael Saunders triple. Another talent in the 6th inning. Seager leading off with a home run to right to make it 3-2. And then a little disappointing for the M's here in the 9th. That Donaldson leadoff homer off Josh Kinney. So the Mariners will have a little more work to do in the bottom of the 9th. Swing and a miss. Good breaking pitch. 1-2. And if you look ahead to the bottom of the 9th, due up for the Mariners, Casper Wells, Mike Karp, and Alex Liddy.
Probably a couple of pinch hitters will come out in the bottom of the 9th inning. It looks like they'll have to get it done against Grant Balfour, somebody that they're familiar with. He's getting loose in the pen for the A's.
Up and away with a fastball at 90 miles per hour, 2-2.
There's Balfour, former Rays pitcher.
He has that look of readiness.
I think he's ready to go. He's been throwing for a while out there, just pacing himself.
Breaking ball, strikeout, ball dropped, and 2-3 on the put up. So everybody gets set now. Fasten your seatbelts. We go to the bottom of the ninth, and the Mariners need at least 2. Lead for the Mariners in the ninth inning. Well, Root Sports is looking for the biggest Mariners fans in the Northwest. We're going to go state to state to find the most passionate here in our region. This month, we want to hear from you, devoted fans here in Washington. So log on to rootsports.com and show us why you're the Mariners' ultimate Northwest fan. Do not wait in the state of Washington. Ken Wilson, Mike Flowers, we've got our fingers crossed, hoping for the best. The Mariners are going to face a new pitcher here in the bottom of the ninth.
It will be Grant Balfour taking over for the Mariners as we expected. Overall, for Balfour, a 2.77 ERA. He's given up 4 home runs this year, just 35 hits over the 61 2/3. That is a terrific number for Balfour. 55 strikeouts, 25 walks, opponent's average 164. He will use a fastball and a slider. His fastball will be 94 miles an hour. And as we expected for the Mariners, we'll get a pinch hitter. Pinch hitting for Casper Wells, it'll be John Jaso. Those are his numbers pinch hitting on the season. He's done a nice job. 313 average, driven in 4 runs. His job now, Mariners down 2, is to find a way to get on base.
So there you see pinch hitting this season. Jaso very strong. Pinch hit in the ninth last night and fly to center against Evan Scribner. He's in the shadow. The pitcher is in the sun, and the breaking ball for a strike. So Mike, tell us what this means for a hitter now with the ball coming out of the brightness.
Now is when it gets difficult. About the time the shadow gets halfway to the mound, and it's just about there. It's difficult because for the hitters, you have a tough time picking up the spin of the ball. You can see the baseball fine, but it's trying to pick up the rotation that makes it difficult. It looks a little bit gray once it gets into that shadow area, and it's just really tough.
So John Jaso pinch hitting for Wells, leading off the ninth. The Mariners down by 2. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Balfour, the 5th pitcher of the day, used by Bob Melvin. He is born in Australia, signed 15 years ago as a free agent by Minnesota, and he first got to the big leagues with the Twins. A little soft liner, fair ball into foul territory, around first. Jaso, he'll go into second base, and Cespedes is yet to pick up the ball. Now he does, and the Mariners will be able to bring the potential tying run to the plate here in the bottom of the ninth.
And that will be Mike Karp as we take a look at the swing. Inside out swing by Jaso. He's beat on this fastball, but is able to fight it off right down the line our McDonald's Supermo. You can see how high up on the bat it'll hit right there on the label. But that will work. It's a double. No chance for a double play now for the A's with that double by Jaso. So that'll give Mike Carp a chance to drive in a run. The Mariners so far just 1 for 7. You see that's a unique swing. You see the gap in his hands. Not many hitters hit like that. Typically they have their hands together, but that's something that John has done all year.
So he's at second, nobody out. His 16th double of the season. And the batter is Mike Carp, who has a single back in the third and has struck out twice since. Fastball, strike call. Boy, it's a shame that Donaldson hit that home run leading off the top of the
Makes
ninth.
things a little bit different, doesn't it?
Boy, if it was 3-2 now, you'd go, well, this looks like a deal. But it's 4-2 Oakland. So you need a couple. Wouldn't the long ball be nice? Out of play. Carp finds himself 0-2.
Good fastball from Balfour. That one at 95 miles an hour. So many times you get a leadoff double runner at second. You'd like to see the hitter move him along with something on the ground to the right side. Not the case here when you're down 2 runs. Don't want to give up any outs. You only have 3 to work with.
Yeah, it's a different situation. Things change as the game changes. You get late in the game, and lots of things that would have happened earlier are not in the mix. Now a little help, a little shade. That has to help Mike Carp, who faces a 2-strike pitch from Balfour. And ball 1 at 94 miles per hour. Liddy is on deck. Another power bat for Eric Wedge.
You're wondering what's happened to our tracer. Apparently the shadows affect that too, so we haven't been able to use it with the shadows out in front of home plate.
So strike 3 called. That crisp fastball, and Carp has to take that long walk back to the dugout. Out number 1.
Take a look at it. It's a fastball on the outside corner as Mike takes a look at it. Thought the pitch was off the plate away, but home plate umpire Jim Reynolds disagreed, called it a strike, so that'll be it for Carp. We'll get another pinch hitter now. Eric Thames coming out of the Mariners dugout. He will pinch hit. Going to pinch hit for Alan Salitti.
Thames picked up not long ago in a trade with Toronto. With the Mariners, 4 home runs and 101 at bats. And 1 for 2 as a pinch hitter with the M's. So he could potentially tie it with 1 swing of the bat. And boy, he was trying.
Gets a high fastball. He came unglued. Well, he's loose now. Take another look at this swing by Eric Thames. He has some power. He turned it loose there.
Yeah, if there would have been a connection, this game would have been tied. Out at second, you've got Jaso. He led off with a pinch hit double. Now there's 1 away. M's down by 2, and that's outside. Maybe a bit high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Kawasaki waiting on deck. As you look at the rest of the bench for Eric Wedge left-handers, he has Peguero and Jimenez. Switch hitters Figgins, Robinson, and Smoke available to him.
Eric Thames fan club right there, and there's Kawasaki on deck. Mariners are down to their final 2 outs, trailing by 2. 9th inning. Try to come from behind and salvage 1 win in this 3-game weekend series. Broken bat, pop up. Out goes Rosales. In comes Reddick. He leaps and makes the catch. Back at second is Jaso. Outstanding play by the right fielder Josh Reddick.
Well, something that we've seen from Reddick this year is he can close on these shallow fly balls. Mariners have seen this play a number of times this year. Thought maybe it had a chance to fall, but he was able to close on it. Make a sliding catch out in right.
Now we'll get another pinch hitter. We get a conference on the mound after Reddick makes the play, and here's Luis Jimenez making his major league debut this season. Here coming up from Tacoma, had his first major league hit the other night.
Well, Eric, at this point, again, Brendan Ryan out when Kawasaki came on for him, and now Kawasaki's out of the game. So Eric Wedge doing everything that he can. Want to give Jimenez a chance to try to hit one out of the ballpark. Jimenez a good year in AAA this year. Had his first major league hit a couple nights ago.
So he's 1 for 4 in the show and thrilled to be here. First pitch, he takes it from Grant Balfour. Ball one. Jimenez is beyond a journeyman. That's how long he's been in the minor leagues. Played a bit in Japan. 13 seasons, 13 baseball seasons, including some time in the Oakland A's organization. Big, strong, strike, 1-1.
Balfour will certainly try to keep the ball away from him. That last pitch on the outside corner.
Jimenez from Venezuela, he weighs somewhere around 280 or 290. At that size, a few pounds doesn't make a difference. He wants to use that power here. Swing and a foul ball into the glove of the catcher, Norris. So now it's 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jimenez.
Powerful swing on a good fastball at 95 and throws it by him. He's trying to do some damage with that swing.
So down to the final strike here. 4-2. Mariners trail, 9th inning. Jaso at second and 2 away. A 1-2 count on the pinch hitter, Jimenez. Pinch hitting for Kawasaki. Mariner dugout prepared for happiness. Outside, 2-2. Glad you're still with us. Is there magic for the Mariners here in the ninth?
The Mariners can reach base. You have Franklin Gutierrez, top of the lineup, coming back up. Gutierrez on deck.
The outfield very deep. The second baseman, Rosales, in short right. Balfour trying to close it out. The 2-2. Stroke to left. Hanging up. Cespedes there makes the catch. And that ends this afternoon of baseball. No runs a hit. The Mariners end up leaving 7 as the A's win it 4-2 and sweep the Mariners. The A's have now won 9 in a row on the road. 19 of their last 22 in the victory column when away from home as Malone beats Vargas, saves 16 for Balfour.
And Vargas pitched well today. As again, it's just that 3-run homer that hurt him. For Jason trying to get his 15th win, didn't work out for him, but really the Mariners will look back and 2 for 21 in this series with runners in scoring position. Ken, they're going to have to do a much better job of that, even going to Toronto, a team that has struggled this year, but you just have to come up with some clutch hits. Again, the A's, second in the league in ERA, they can pitch. Mariners had a tough time.
Yeah, A's sweep the series, 2:54 the time of the game, 14,403. Thanks for joining us. For Mike, I'm Ken Wilson. There's the final. Let's turn it over to our buddies now, Brad and Bill.
Ken, Mike, thank you very much out here in the pen. Well, they mentioned it, Bill. This team, the Oakland A's, they can pitch. We know that. But what we're finding out is they can play long ball as well. They have power. Not a lot of average out there, but they're scoring runs. They're winning games. Take a look at the game summary. And really, the only mistake Vargas made here in the 5th.
Yeah, I heard he trying to get Johnny Gomes a little bit of belief on the inside fastball. Got too much of the plate, and Gomes hits it in the bullpen. And really, that's the only real bad pitch that Vargas made. He was brilliant otherwise.
3-0 at that point. Bottom of the 5th. Saunders gets one back, ripping an RBI triple to right field.
Little fastball in the inner half from Malone. He's thrown a lot of breaking balls, shoves it down the corner. Liddy's going to come around to score after the stolen base as Saunders flies into third with the triple.
So 3-1 at this point. Saunders must be feeling A-OK. The groin running well, so he's doing well. To the 6th, Mariners play long ball.
Here you see Kyle Seager putting one on the board. Got a fastball, a breaking ball. Been getting him out with the fastball. Malone tried the breaking ball and hung it a bit, and Seager hit out of the ballpark.
3-2, and then Donaldson comes back to a hanging breaking ball from Kenny.
You know, these guys are an opportunistic offense. You know, the long ball, which always plays, and you got pitching, you kind of play that Earl Weaver game, right? A walk, a bloop, and a blast, and you just let Palmer and Cuellar, McNally, and Malone cover the rest of it for you.
That's what they did. 2 outs there. They go single. Gomes up there hacking hard. 3-run home run. He has 16. Seager leading the team with 17 now. Not enough. The solo shot brings the Mariners to within 1. But the A's take the game 4-2. They take the series. They sweep the series. At least today was a different game. Same outcome, unfortunately. 4-2 again, the final. More to get to in the post-game show right here on Root Sports.